Our region has some of the highest levels in the country. Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Lowe's knows the best deals for Dad. That's why this Father's Day, you can shop our best gifts from the brands he loves for less. Help Dad power his next big project by getting him a Cobalt 24-volt Max drill kit, now only $89. And save up to 40% on select tools and accessories. Shop Father's Day deals today, in-store and online. Lowe's knows dads. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/14 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
DQ presents how to get the most from your next DQ treat run. Step 1, grab the new Oreo Brookie Blizzard. Step 2, dig in. That's it, because this triple-decker treat has brownie and cookie brookie pieces, plus Oreo pieces. Oh, that's a mouthful of DQ goodness in every red spoonful. Guess it's time for a treat run, because the Oreo Brookie Blizzard is here for a limited time, only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Nick Handley here for my friends at DJ's Dugout. Everyone at DJ's Dugout says welcome to Omaha baseball fans. June is a fun and exciting month in Omaha, and we welcome all the college baseball teams, little league teams, and visitors here in town. DJ's can accommodate teams in large groups. Omaha is known for getting a good burger, and DJ's fresh, never frozen half-pound Angus beef burgers are absolutely delicious. DJ's is locally and Vietnam veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
The Omaha Farmers Market is celebrating 30 years in 2023 every Saturday in the Old Market from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and every Sunday in Exarban Village from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Enjoy the bountiful season of locally grown and handmade goods. Get the city's best selection of fresh produce, herbs, meat, and more. To keep up with what's in season, visit omahafarmersmarket.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Presented by Methodist Health System with media sponsors KETV Channel 7 and Sweet 98.5.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. 1620 The Zone.
No doubt. We don't have any of that. We don't have no quit. We're going to continually fight starting tomorrow to get better. And then we're going to go on a Monday and do what we said we were going to do this entire time and win. We have to. We have no other choice. Otherwise, we did all this for no reason. So the guys know, we know, we got something to do.
Just understand that we haven't done anything. You know, I told our guys, the first thing I said, we're not celebrating. It's a good win. We've done our job, but we're not celebrating like we've done anything yet. We know we're going to have to go home and turn off the TV, the radio. Don't read the papers. Don't listen to everybody telling you how great you are, because we haven't done a damn thing yet. We have to win another game to be world champions.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Telling you, bring the energy like the LSU fan that Kevin James is. Good morning, everybody. It is College World Series week. Nick is back from a trip to Mexico. I'm glad you were able to get through customs.
I did, successfully.
Barely.
Houston. That was almost a different story, but
what happened in Houston?
We just, let's just say we spent more time on the tarmac than I thought you were legally allowed to.
Did you miss a connection?
We did not, but we came close to. We got back about 5 hours later than we thought we would. So a little more tired yesterday than I thought I would be, but all good. Could have been worse. We had a group that missed their flight entirely.
Ooh.
So
Was that intentional? Like they were hammered and
No.
hung over and
See,
were
that's the thing.
sleeping? That would be the better story.
Exactly.
Don't tell me they got caught in traffic. Just tell me that they had a bender the final night in Mexico, too much tequila.
Yeah.
And didn't remember where they were. They woke up and they still had their liver and their life in some parts of Mexico.
With two random people with them.
Yeah. And after a trouble, they were able to make their.
See, what I'm about to tell
No.
you then is just, it's going to pale in comparison. Then.
But it's radio. See, we
Yeah.
believe anything.
They taxied. It took them too long to taxi and get through customs.
All right.
And then by the time they got through customs, they had missed their connecting flight and had to stay at DFW.
Ooh.
Where they had a trouble there?
What's that?
Where they had a trouble there?
No.
Oh.
That I
I spiced up the story.
As far as I know, they got back yesterday.
I don't think those happen in airports.
I don't think so either.
I think
There's-
the original connection maybe happens, but I don't think the actual act happens in an airport.
Flying's a little, flying's just, it's fun these days. But, yeah. But, hey.
Did you get an extra ginger ale on the plane for your troubles?
Oh, I was really proud of my wife and I. We had two, one in Houston and then Cancun. We had, for whatever reason, the time they get you to the airport, it's like you have 3 hours to kill. We went to the Guy Fieri restaurant out at Cancun, had the trash can nachos, but I think we had like more beer in the maybe the 8 hours that we were hanging out in airports than we did the last day on the resort. So all good.
I'm glad to have you back. It is College World Series week, everybody. Can you feel it? By the way, the weather outside, if you are just getting up and maybe your windows were open or you're
Gorgeous
stepping out
October
onto the
morning.
lanai, it is beautiful. It is almost like chilly. It's 46 degrees right now. Now, all I can ask, man, I've done some bad things in my life, so Mother Nature and I don't have actually a great relationship. If we could just keep this for 2 weeks, I'd be a big, big fan. I might even go back to church if Mother Nature goes to church, which I think she does or he does. I guess it would be a she. But I know that with the College World Series beginning on Friday, the weather is going to be hot. It is going to be humid. There is going to be rain. It's going to be June in Omaha. So I'm not going to complain. And I'm certainly not going to complain about the field. So we have 2 spots that are left in the College World Series, and they will be decided tonight at Hattiesburg and Sunken Diamond. So we have Tennessee and Southern Miss. Go Tennessee. I am a big Orange fan. I want Tony Vitello. I want to inject that into my veins. I want Tennessee LSU in the College World Series because of the absolute friggin' gong show that would take place in the stands and what a great atmosphere it would be. And then we have Stanford and Texas play at Sunken Diamond to get to Omaha. But the 6 that are here, that including 4 that have won 50 or more, we got a 4 seed. We've got Wake Forest. This is a great field. We actually have lucked out here, and we get the most popular all-time College World Series team in LSU to bring their tailgates and their Go Omaha here, and to make our beloved listener, Kellyanne, who is a diehard LSU fan and a wonderful tailgate in La D, super happy.
Obviously there's the Stony Brook, the Fresno State, the team that I will give you credit for. I showed up today ready to say,
good call.
You made it. You called that. Oral Roberts.
Now, 2 weeks ago, I said I love Oral.
I said we all do.
Hey, and you know what? I got it last night. As they won just a wild series up at Eugene.
Well, thanks for sharing that, by the way. But yes, and Oral Roberts won.
Share and share alike.
Oral Roberts, that is okay. I'm just going to, as a baseball observer and weird things that sometimes I'll pick out. And I'm watching this last night too with Stanford in the Stanford Texas game. I don't like to be uniform guy, but there's something about just the old school, nothing flashy about the uniform that I just dig. And Stanford's they're notorious for that. But Oral Roberts, the same thing. Oral Roberts just got the nothing. It's I don't say it's like old school, but there's nothing new school about like their look. It's a very 4 seed. We don't give a you know what. Try and beat us. Like it starts with like their appearance. It's a bunch of dudes in the Oklahoma area, the guys that could play some baseball, guys that look the part, kind of shaggy dudes, and like that it reminds me. The team I followed more than Stony Brook was that 2008 Fresno State team, and then they usually have that type of personality, that type of just like look of we don't give a blank, try and beat us, and that's what Oral Roberts brings in.
Yeah, they're in a mid-major conference, but they don't carry themselves like a mid-major team. And Oral Roberts baseball has been good for a long time. And actually, before Max Asmus arrived, Oral Roberts baseball had been the sport in Tulsa.
Mhm.
They've invested in it. They've been really, really good. They're in a great location. And I said, after watching them play here against Omaha, that's the best ORU team that I have seen. They are built 1 through 9. They have a couple of good starters. They have a stud on the back end in Denton. And when they got a 4 seed, I was like, that's scary because they are not a 4 seed. And what they were able to do, so Friday night, they were up 8-0. And they blew that in Eugene, where the atmosphere was crunk, as the kids say. Do they
Yes.
still say crunk?
I don't know. I'll have to ask.
It was off the chain.
Welcome to Atlanta,
Off the
where
hook.
the players play. I'm going to get crunk. The atmosphere was awesome. So, like, the super regional atmospheres were great
Mhm.
across the board.
Wake was cool.
Which makes you harken back for about 15 plus years ago when we used to have super regionals around here. But you're playing in Eugene and you blow an 8-0 lead on Friday night. And then your season is on the brink on Saturday night. You come back in the 9th and walk it off. And then yesterday, you took advantage of your opportunities. And my thing why I don't fully embrace college baseball is because when you have bad pitching, it goes south in a hurry. And Oregon's pitching went south. They walked 11. Oral Roberts took advantage of it. And ORU is coming here. And it's the first non-Power 5 team that's coming to Omaha since Cal State Fullerton in 2017. Again,
It's crazy.
Whatever two are coming after today, this is a great field. This is great for the sport. It's great for the fans. It's great for our businesses. There's going to be heads in beds. There's going to be a lot of money spent. There's going to be a lot of Jell-O shots that are going to be sold.
Welcome back.
At a place where, do regular Omaha people outside of the College World Series ever go in that establishment? It's Rococo's. It's right across the street from the College World Series. It's outside the right field gate. I never see anybody there when the College World Series is not going on.
Yeah.
But good on them. They embrace the Jell-O shot challenge, and it's huge, and it's fun. And we saw it last year with Ole Miss. They just dominated. Now we got LSU and the people from Oral Roberts who will drink a little bit, and they will dance, and they will violate everything that the televangelist Oral Roberts once stood for. But I love the field. I think this is going to be great. It's great for it's great for the sport across the board.
It's perfect because you do have the national powers. You have, first of all, you have statistically the best team in college baseball in Wake Forest. It's making their way here. And the fact that they also play the long game, that excites people. So from a college baseball standpoint, from a prospect standpoint, you've got this field littered with it already. So you've got Wake. Then you've got the brand that Omaha loves so much, has for decades in LSU. And so you get that part of it. You've got Florida. You've got a lot of teams that have been a part of this College World Series. But the one thing that always seems to kind of put the cherry on top, I think, for every fan. Now, if you're a college baseball fan, if you're a diehard baseball fan, maybe this doesn't weigh heavily on your rooting interest. But you also did get, if you want to call them that, the Cinderella story, but a 4 seed, an Oral Roberts team like that we were just talking about. So it's got a little bit of everything to draw in, I think, each fan. I think every type of, whether you're a baseball or event fan, because of the fan bases that will be coming in, you really have it all for this one so far. And we still have, as you pointed out, 2 spots to fill today. And it doesn't matter who wins those games.
College World Series is better with LSU in it.
It is.
Fight me outside. And you know, I want Tennessee. I'm openly rooting for Tennessee because I want Tennessee LSU to play each other. But when LSU is here, the College World Series is better. Now it's crazy to think they haven't been here for a while. They got insane expectations down there all the time.
Seems like they used to be here every year back in the day.
And they rolled through Kentucky first time they were here since 17. But I'm in love with this field. Now, the part of the College World Series field is, that TV runs everything.
Mm-hmm.
So TV especially runs college baseball. They set the start times. You really can't do anything without TV. We ran into a situation late last night. If you stayed up, this is twofold where I'm going with stuff that happened in college baseball, probably well after either one of you went to bed last night. Southern Miss and Tennessee played today in a winner-take-all in Hattiesburg. They didn't know past 10 o'clock last night what time they were starting because ESPN was trying to figure it out. Then you had, because they were waiting on Texas, Stanford, and Stanford defeated Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They did not blow a game in the 9th inning, so they're playing a winner-take-all today. So ESPN waited, and then they announced the start times. They're not on the same network. They are not staggered. They're going to run up against Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight, but the game in Hattiesburg starts at 5. The game at Sunken Diamond starts at 7. But the two teams that had played earlier in the day had to wait that long to figure out what they were doing. So ESPN runs college baseball. Now, the other story, as Cody writes into the Equitable Bank inbox, yes, it's chilly enough this morning. I can see my breath on my run today. College World Series week. It's like, I thought about wearing a hoodie in today.
I did too.
I did wear a hoodie.
I couldn't wear pants, but I had to wear a hoodie. But here's the other story, that the Johnny-come-latelys to baseball will only focus on one thing and will be a discussion today. So Stanford last night holds off Texas with a left-handed pitcher, Quinn Matthews, pitching a complete game. Now, sometimes in baseball, complete games are like a rarity these days.
Oh, yeah.
Eddington from Virginia threw a complete game, and he's part of the elite pitching that's going to be here. But the story will be Quinn Matthews throws a complete game to keep Stanford's season alive, and there will be a lot of focus on 156 pitches that he threw, which is not even the highest in college baseball this year.
No. We will go down that road. We do it many, many times. This is always a popular thing. Anytime Arkansas or Dave Van Horn team is in the postseason, you typically see not only high pitch counts, but you will see quick turnarounds where it becomes this really talked about topic. And I'm not sure. See, I'm not even sure where you stand on the.
Well, what's your thoughts? You've been around your baseball
exactly.
guy. Come on.
So that's the thing. I'm not even sure what your thoughts are on this, but this is one of those conversations to me gets a little overdone because I get it in the sport of baseball, and we've seen so many Tommy Johns, we've seen so many arm issues, but the people that I've talked to in that field when it comes to rehabbing will tell you that it's the year-round wear and tear. It's what you don't do when it comes to time to rest, as opposed to maybe running up the occasional pitch count. You're watching a guy yesterday that is throwing predominantly changeups. You're watching a guy yesterday that's not throwing an actual pitch that is overly taxing on your arm. Now, if you're seeing a guy that's throwing 100 miles an hour and he's throwing, just exploding sliders that are taxing your elbow, and you're running that up 125, 130 plus, you're seeing a guy that's constantly getting himself into trouble, into jams, then okay, maybe from a strategy standpoint, you're looking to do something else. But you're watching a guy that is absolutely cruising. You are at a point of the season where the arms, at least in my opinion and from what I've known, the arms are not as probably lifeless. And people always refer to, at this point of the season, you can get dead arm. Again, that's if this has been a major issue for that pitcher throughout the year. If he is constantly exceeding 100, and I always think 115 is kind of all right, where are you at 115? Are you starting to fatigue? Are you seeing drop in velocity? Are you seeing different things there? Are there things physically that are going on right there that says, okay, this is excessive? To me, what happened last night, considering the type of pitches that you're seeing thrown, that number it's exactly that. It's a number. It's not that big of a deal.
When you see Keith Law trending, you know that, you better check into this. and it's celebrated everywhere. So every graphic that is tweeted out talks about his complete game at 156 pitches. And I'm with you. Tommy John injuries can happen whenever.
Right.
And if you watched him pitch, and he's thrown 336 pitches over the last 20 days, threw 156 last night. He wanted to stay in the game. This is kind of his last dance. He's 119th rated prospect, so he's not a first-round guy.
Right.
But he's also a guy, and I'm glad you brought this up, because not all pitches and pitchers are created equal. He does not have a violent arm motion. He does not have a Shane Comine stature and throws as violently as Shane did. And we saw those high pitch counts, they led to arm issues. Not all pitchers are built differently. And he is somebody that does not throw with a lot of violence.
Yeah, like torque.
He throws nice and easy.
Yep.
And also he doesn't blow you away. So he's not pumping from the left side 97, 98 miles an hour. He's a very, as they would say, a crafty lefty. Now, Wally and Angels in the outfield, probably is sitting in the dugout last night and go, his arm has to be tired. But at 156 pitches, people will focus on that. And the Johnny-come-latelys, because college baseball in the past, with Cliff Gustafson, he would abuse arms. Absolutely abuse arms. And we have a lot more science on how the arm works. And again, Tommy John injuries can happen at any time. I don't have a problem with it because they know that pitcher better than most. They know that he's a dog and he wasn't going to let them take him out of the game. And also, all pitches and pitchers are not created equal. If he is throwing from a funky arm angle and he's just 95, 96, 97, 156, that's criminal. 156 for a type of pitcher like that, I don't have an issue with it. You know why? Because people are going to jump on that and they're going to go, well, here is Lincecum and Kumar Rocker and Matt Cain. And then they're going to come to me and they're going to say, hey, what about Kevin Kopps? And you know what I'm going to say? Oh, the guy from the 21 Arkansas team that threw a lot, that you all said he was going to have Tommy John and break down, where's he at now?
Yeah.
He's in Double-A.
Yeah.
Okay, he's pitching. He hasn't missed a beat. Okay, so this is the thing, the Johnny-come-latelys that will just look at 156. I'm glad you said that's just a number. I'm not going to lose my mind over this. Now, the ramification is he probably, he's not their number one starter, so he's going to get more than a week off before he pitches again. They know him. They know his makeup, and in hearing him talk, he's built a little bit different, and so is his arm. But watch today. That will be, if you're a pro guy, you're going to hammer college baseball because a guy in a elimination game threw 156 pitches and what, 99 strikes? No, 104 of those 156 were strikes. Not all pitchers are created equal.
Well, and again, I'm going to go back to not only the amount of pitches, but how many of those were fastball to changeup in that combination, which I would assume, and I don't have it. I don't know if it was even a graphic yesterday, how many of those pitches were off speed, because his off speed primarily was his changeup. A changeup is something that you learn how to throw even at the age of 11 years old, just to give something a different look. It's one of the most safe pitches to throw when it comes to off speed. But not even that. The analytics that go into baseball right now and the amount of data, you brought up sort of the science behind it. And the 24 hours from the time that you put yourself on the mound and you go through whatever outing you're going through, they have so many great ways of tracking. Again, once you start to get into that 85 plus territory, okay. And, this works for two reasons. One, is it time for us to go to the bullpen because, he's ineffective right now. But B, and
also,
maybe the most
also that was a bullpen that let you down the day before.
Exactly.
And this is your season.
And if you're seeing some of those signs of like, he's starting to get up with his fastball, the changeup is starting to lay out flat. There's things from a strategy standpoint. Okay, he's going to become more hittable. We need to make a change. But more importantly, all right, we have now exceeded 125. Are we seeing major dip in velocity? Are we seeing things, again, that not only we can see with our eyeballs, but also what our technology is telling us about his drop in production? That could say arm fatigue. That could say there is something going on where he is truly taxed right now. We need to get him out. Okay, so there's that part of it. Then the most important part of this conversation is how he will be managed from the time he got done with that game to what he's doing today. Well, from running polls to the different things that they are going to take him through, from arm exercises to make sure that you are reducing any type of lactic acid buildup, but also being able to preserve the arm to make sure you're going through the right treatment on an arm that is used like that in one outing, to make sure that you are doing anything you can to minimize any type of major fatigue that could maybe eventually lead to something later. They have people around that know this better than any of the critics out there. And trust me.
Hello, Keith Law.
Yeah, he's
on brand for pitchers that throw a lot. Hey, this is the 14th time that he's thrown 105 or more.
Yeah. And at this point,
they would know him better. They would know him better than anybody else that is around him.
If you're doing that in March, that's a problem. Even with the way that, even if you have a guy who's throwing a changeup 75% of the time, if you're going 125 to 150, because your arm isn't built up yet. When you are in June, your arm's conditioned. It's built up. So if you do occasionally have to work the overtime,
I don't necessarily agree with that. There's
you
a
can
lot
run
of guys
into dead. You can run into dead arm.
I think there's more times of, man, it's tinging.
Oh, sure, but
then guys getting stronger.
But I would take that more than I would anybody trying to run up that pitch count and say March, because you're not even there. The probability of something going wrong, I think, would be a lot greater then than it would be right now at this part of the season.
156 pitches. Do we celebrate it? Because all the graphics included complete game, 156 pitches, Stanford stays alive, and it created late night quite a discussion, probably for people that just dropped by in college baseball this time of the year. 156? Do we celebrate it? Do we celebrate that he pitched 156 in a complete game and won? We were not celebrating our good friend Scott Docterman. So Scott Docterman, Nick, was on the show on Friday. I felt like yesterday after Tom Chattel's column, he was like King Kong on the Empire State Building, just swatting away planes from people that were coming at him with his tweet about Tom's column. Tom Chattel did his job. It became a discussion point. We will discuss that column. Again, the NBA Game 5 tonight. Yeah. Hey, when my mascot has to go to the hospital because he got knocked out by Conor McGregor, that's what kind of finals it's been for me. Denver's an 8.5-point favorite tonight to wrap up the NBA championship, and a heck of a run. Heck of a run. More than likely, they're going to go through their entire postseason run and never lose a game by 10 or more.
It's pretty damn impressive.
We probably need to talk a little bit more about Denver's run here in the postseason, but Game 5 is tonight. Again, the College World Series is waiting for 2 teams to show up. It starts on Friday. Tyson Terry from Omaha North in the class of 25 says yes to Nebraska. Jim Nance had an all-time call ahead of the U.S. Open this weekend.
What a cool moment.
And speaking of pitching, Rob Childress was here with Shane Comine. Rob Childress now has moved a couple of seats down next to Will Bolt. He will be officially announced probably today that he is the new pitching coach at Nebraska. But do not let it overshadow the other hire that Will Bolt made this weekend, and that is Mike Sirianni coming from Wichita State. Will Bolt means a lot. Mike Sirianni means a lot as well. As Will has kind of a little bit washed his hands, I've handed off pitching to Rob, and I've got a guy that is a dude when it comes to recruiting.
Yep.
He did it at Wichita State. No, by the way, there's 31 players from Wichita State that are in the portal, including a great two-way player who was first team all CC?
Well,
all
AAC.
AAC.
And don't forget the other guy that's still on staff that's also pretty decent recruited too, in Lance Arvell.
Yep, that's all to come as we roll till 10. You're more than welcome to join the show to kick off the College World Series. Our friends from LSU are coming. Oh, we need Big Orange Nation here as well. Please, please, please. The matchups for Friday and Saturday night also are Friday, the entire Friday, entire Saturday are juicy. This is going to be a fun run of the College World Series here in Omaha. 951-1620, the number to hop into the program. You can also get us on the Equitable Bank email chain. Gary at 1620thezone.com, Nick at 1620thezone.com, Equitable Bank, where they take banking personally, or you can slide into our DMs or our tweeters on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620,
Swipe
at
right.
Handley 1620. Amy Just, Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi, all to join us today. The lineup brought to you by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. Michigan Lance will kick us off coming up next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
As a business owner, you work hard to keep the lights on. At Emprise Bank, we do too. We understand the challenges that growing companies face because Emprise is built for business. Whether you need to borrow capital, finance real estate, or get advice to reach your goals, our commercial bankers are here with flexible financing solutions to make banking easy and to help you switch from your current bank seamlessly. This is the power of possible. Visit emprisebank.com to learn more.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Fun fact, did you know gorillas burp when they're happy?
Really? I'm glad humans don't have that issue, as it would create some awkward moments.
Dave and Ryan Osted here with Osted's Golf. Looking for your happiness on the course? Book your fitting appointment today with Osted's, the nation's top 100 fitter from Callaway, Ping, Mizuno, and Golf Digest.
Why get fit? On average, golfers gain 19 yards off the tee and drop their handicap by 10%.
Wow, results like that will make any golfer happy.
Stop in today or book your appointment on Osteds.com. All burps will be taken as a compliment.
There are some things that happen every day. In the morning, my paper gets delivered. Thank you. Around noon, my neighbor waters his flowers wearing a bathrobe and hip waders. Hello, Mr. Willis.
Where's my paper?
After dinner, the lady up the street walks her 14 poodles. And just before the 10 o'clock news, the Nebraska lottery winning numbers are drawn for their daily games. Nebraska Pick 3, 2x2, and My Day. With Nebraska Pick 3, you choose your bet type. In 2x2, there's a $22,000 top prize. And with My Day, you choose a 6-digit date. They're all just $1 to play, with drawings every day. Oh, excuse me. Hi, Mr. Willis.
I'm still looking for my paper.
Guess which part of the day is my favorite?
Nebraska Pick 3, 2x2, and My Day top prize odds vary by game.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do?
We're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. To find a store near you, go to metalsupermarkets.com.
Can I take your order?
Can I get a small chicken sandwich meal?
Sorry, we only sell jumbo meals. Same size for everyone.
Sometimes one size fits all isn't right for you. Same goes for your mobile plan. At Cox Mobile, get what you actually need and start saving with the right data plan. If your needs change, switch between plans at any time. Now that's something different.
Thanks. I think I'll go get something different.
Cox Mobile. We're different because you're different. Visit cox.com/mobile to learn more. Postpaid Cox internet required. Other restrictions apply.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Years old, John Stewart, who was a long-time leading voice of the Yankees. The Red Sox and Yankees are playing this weekend. And the other night, and I've always said, I don't think John can see. So, you're up high. They're doing the game at Yankee Stadium. So when it happened and people heard that he got hit, they thought, just like maybe, it came up into the booth, hit the equipment, and glanced off of him.
Couple ricochets.
So it nailed him. It drilled him. But how funny is an 84-year-old man going, ow, ow, ow. That's the best part of this.
Yeah.
Now, he's okay. He came back and did the game. Last night, he's got a bandage on his forehead. but it's a lot worse than people like first
Yes.
imagine.
Oh, yeah.
But again,
It clocks them.
play it again. The 84-year-old man going, ow,
Out.
ow.
That was closer than I thought. Yeah.
Well, all right, here we go.
I'm glad he's okay. That's what I'm glad.
Ow! Ow!
He's okay. So
I could laugh
yeah,
about it.
he's okay, and he was back again last night. Welcome back to College World Series week and day. Our smokers outside of this building will be happy today. Now it's getting warm out.
Yeah.
They don't go outside. They go sit in the car and they turn on the air conditioning,
Yeah.
which counterintuitive to me. But they're going to stand outside.
Yeah, it could be a double heater morning.
The weather is unbelievable outside right now for June 12th. It's 46 degrees.
High of 73.
And a dry heat.
2 weeks from today, when we could be having the winner-take-all championship game, it will not be 46 at 6:40 in the morning. I'm just going to go on the prediction board
81.
and say that. All right, bat spikes, by the way, greater than bat flips.
Yeah.
Because bat spikes are back with Rake Forest.
Yep.
We just bludgeoned Alabama over the weekend. And they play in a bandbox, which is wild because they have the best ERA in all of college baseball. So their pitchers pitch the majority of the games in that place where you get it up in the wind this weekend against Alabama and the ball goes out. But they're into bat spikes. I think I could be into bat spikes over bat flips. But I wonder when we get to this atmosphere beginning on Friday, how much overreaction we have from the umpires who like to insert themselves into the game of college baseball.
You can say it. Fun police. Sure.
I mean, will they all of a sudden crack down on the Oral Roberts first base coach that you get a hit, you get a gummy worm in your mouth?
I like that.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with the school like any of the religious things.
No.
It's just a thing they do.
It's a snack.
It's not communion or anything.
Yeah. But I would hope that umpires show restraint because I saw a lot of emotion this weekend, and it seemed like a lot of the umpires let some stuff go, like, celebration as long as it wasn't directed towards the other team. So please let us have bat spikes, bat flips, and let us have fun at our College World Series.
Think about how the old mothership likes to promote the product. And we saw this with the Women's College World Series as well. They like to promote the celebrations. They like to promote the guys and the gals having fun, doing what they're doing. I feel like that's an NCAA-driven type of thing, all the way down to ESPN. So I feel like in collaboration, there's those conversations with the umps of, hey, we want to maintain what we're promoting and having fun. When it becomes a taunting towards the other team, which that's the difference. In old school baseball, Nick, used to hate that because when you would be doing that towards the other team, you'd be looking at the other team while you're doing stuff like that. That would lead to, buzz in the tower. Then that leads to other things. But when you're doing that, you're looking at your team, you're spiking the bats or you're flipping the bats. As long as it's not directed at the guy who threw the pitch or the dugout, I'm good with it.
All right, 2 teams to go, Tennessee and Southern Miss, and then Stanford and Texas to join a fantastic field. 4 teams are in the field that have won 50 or more. The number 1 national seed is Wake Forest. They are here. We have a 4 seed, so we'll hear a lot about Stony Brook and Fresno State leading up to Oral Roberts and TCU. TCU red hot. It's going to be a great College World Series. This better be a good start to the week. Not any pressure or anything. Good morning, Michigan Lance.
Man, good morning. Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you.
Man, you guys got this. You guys are going up on a Monday, aren't you? You guys just test your.
It's College World Series week.
Zion Williamson in the first 30 minutes. You guys were going in there.
I think I would
tweets this week.
I think I would navigate. I would think I would navigate my going in there a little bit different from Zion. We're built a little bit different.
That is true.
And he did.
Oh man. Hey, Tennessee. Hey, uniforms. I'm a uniform guy, but I don't believe just because it's like a new style that it's good. So there are ugly new styles as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind traditional, but I do like,
the smoky gray,
new and different. Now that was horrible. Yeah, that was terrible.
I like to call it graphite. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
you said
of that.
crap
I'm like,
fight.
Well, there can be that too, but it's graphite.
Yeah, I'm like Nike. Yeah, they've been doing that over the past years with like their polos and coaching shirts and stuff like that. It's hit or miss, man. Some are good, that was awful, by the way. So, Nick, hey, man, the kids I'm glad you didn't take your kids. Taking your kids on vacation is more work than at home with your kids. That is that's a different animal.
And then
right
flying
there.
international, yeah. Not we're not there with him yet. No.
Hey, I definitely agree with that. So the Huskers had a big weekend. A lot of guys in. I saw Caleb Benny went down, and you got Tyson Terry. So I love the local love. I guess I'll call it that. The local love that's happening. That Rule is putting in down there, and that weather. I was just at. Speaking of weather, we went down to Gainesville last week, right?
Yeah.
And so we go to the
Purple Porpoise.
Go to the football. Say that again.
Did you go to the Purple Porpoise?
No. Yeah, we went to the campus.
Oh, okay.
We went to the athletic facilities, and we went to the football office, and the front desk people were like, "Oh, you're from Nebraska." They were like, "Is it cold up there?" I was like, "Oh no, not this time of year." And then I hear you talk about 46. I'm like, "Gee," I'm like, "Come on, man, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
And the swamp facilities aren't that great either, by the way.
No, so that just shows you how impressive what Spurrier and Meyer did there, because their facilities are lagging behind. Now they're trying to catch up, but their football facilities, which they've improved in the last couple of years, used to be really, really bad. Like it just wasn't flashy at all.
Yeah, it's the inside where they got the trophies and stuff like that. That's okay. That's cool. And I can tell they worked on that recently. But man, that stadium, oh my, hey man, Nebraska's killing that, man. They're light years ahead of that.
Yeah, the only nice part of that stadium is where the Bull Gators are, and those are the nice big donor seats.
Yeah. But what the cool thing about, they're open like from 7 a.m. to 8. So you can just go in the stadium, walk around, run stairs, read a book. So that's pretty cool that it's open to the public like that. But and speaking of local, we were talking about Rule. Got to give a shout out to my guy. Congratulate him, DeJuan Johnson, new head football coach at Omaha South High School. I think he's going to be on your guy Jimmy Allen after hours tonight as well. You guys can kind of fact check me on that. But a good local guy. He's from Omaha, born and raised.
Dwayne Johnson's
middle school
brother.
there, high school.
Donnie Johnson's brother.
Yep,
Yep.
Donnie Johnson. Yep, former Creighton grad and basketball, and his brother. So that's a great hire, and I'm glad he's coming in at this time. He was my defensive coordinator at Concordia and also coached with me at Central, and he's coming in. I like when Nebraska's going in local too, man. So he's a builder. He's a grinder. He a lot of qualities people like in Rule, he has already, and he's a community guy, and he's from the community. So I'm expect big things coming from Omaha South football in the next couple of years, man. He'll get it done.
Yep.
He'll get it done.
Lance, thanks for the call. Good way to kick off the week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Be good, my brother. Yes, now 3 new OPS coaches, South, Burke, and Central.
Donnie, you brought Donnie Johnson. I want to say the last time you and I did a game of high school basketball, Donnie Johnson was on. Was he with the Benson staff at one point?
He's gone boys and girls.
Okay.
I have a tendency to see Donnie everywhere. Yeah, his brother just got hired at Omaha South, which Omaha South football haven't had a lot of consistency. It can be a tough job, but if you can develop players, we always talk, and Tyson Terry is a prime example from a program where Larry Martin develops players, and that's attractive. I always worry about OPS. I mean, I'm worried a lot about OPS, and it's not just athletics. But when it comes to football and the challenges that all the OPS schools have to go through, if you get a reputation of developing players, you're going to attract kids. You're going to attract kids, and Omaha North has done that. So if you can get numbers and get kids to come out for football and then develop them and get a reputation, then you got a chance of retaining kids that should be going to be in the hallways of Omaha South, and they're not going somewhere else. Lance did bring up Tyson Terry committed. You're thinking, why? He's still got 2 more years to go in high school. And the class of 25, just like the class of 24 here in this town, is really good, headlined by Christian Jones at Omaha West Side. Tyson Terry, nice. And we said it on the show on Thursday. That's who it is that Nebraska kept alluding to
that was going to commit, and the defensive line from Omaha North committed on Friday. And good, he wanted his family to be all involved in his commitment. So that's why a kid that's not going to be in the class until next year says yes. And, Lance's point about recruiting locally, and I have a little pushback on Matt Rule's hashtag Nebraska loyalty, because you got to give kids something to say yes to, but they have given kids an option because of the way they are recruiting the Metro is their first 2 pickups in the class of 25 are local kids.
Well, and when you talked about Terry, and I'm sure you guys discussed this a little bit last week too, but correct me if I'm wrong, because you've seen him more. He's when you talk about that developmental guy, especially a guy who's got 2 more years, he kind of fits that mold. He's a dude that you could see a lot of upside with what he kind of presents. Just his body type and everything is there, but he's another guy that's in the right system, right? That is going to be a guy to watch the next couple of years as he develops, because still very raw, if I remember correctly.
I don't know that I would say the word raw, because he's been at it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, he's been involved in football, and then more importantly in wrestling, where he's never been beaten. He's a 2-time state champion, winning Class A as a freshman. I wouldn't say raw. Here's my thing with him is he's playing defensive end at Omaha North. So he's playing at the position that benefits Omaha North the best.
Yeah.
Comes to Nebraska, he's going to be moved down. He's not a Power 5 defensive end. He is a defensive lineman. But watching him, and he got off to a slow start his sophomore year. I didn't think he was not a guy that after doing an Omaha North game that I walked away and said, man, Tyson Terry's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
He got a slow start, and maybe a lot of the attention after he played as a freshman and all the offseason attention, he got off to a slow start last year. And I think Larry Martin lit a fuse under him, because he's better than that. And he was much better towards the tail end of the year. That's the Tyson Terry at the back end of North's year that I expect moving forward. But here's what I would say about somebody. He's 6'3", 270. And I love linemen that wrestle, because there's so much about wrestling in terms of personal responsibility, your footwork, your hands, just your mental part, that I think benefits you greatly in the game of football when you're playing lineman. So when Malik Collins is on the air here with us on the Zone, and he's talking about wrestler, and we hardly ever talk about football, I'm like, that guy's going to be a really good defensive lineman at Nebraska. And Malik Collins was a great wrestler in the Kansas City area. And anybody that's seen Tyson Terry on the mat, you know the same thing. But he's got hips, he's got explosion, his footwork is really, really good. My bit of advice: you're going to someday play in the NFL, but it will not be as a defensive tackle. I think that his future is at center or guard. Now, he'll come to Nebraska as a defensive lineman, but I wonder how long before they go, man, that guy's got a 10-year NFL career on the other side of the ball playing center or guard, because of his frame and because of what he does really, really well.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I'm with you on the wrestling part of it too. That one-on-one engagement alone. I know we've talked to Verse about this too, but just between the footwork and everything that you're doing, just in that one-on-one engagement, those are guys. I remember watching Nate Budgeta and actually even Drew Ott when they, unfortunately both went to Iowa, not Nebraska, but watching those guys at State Wrestling, knowing that they were going to be Division I defensive linemen, and you're just kind of watching that part of it, like, those guys got force, but it's that sort of that one-on-one engagement that they can with their hands and their feet, and seeing the way that they move or how big they are. And you understand how that translated on the line of scrimmage. Yeah, that's a skill when you look at guys on this line of scrimmage. If they have that, not only prowess, you could be wrestling just to be wrestling, but when you are really good at wrestling too, that typically bodes pretty well for what you're going to do at the next level.
This whole thing shows the approach to in-state kids is a little bit different. More aggressive, more upfront. Getting a sense of where we're at, where you're at, and then having a marriage together and leaving no stone unturned with local kids. I don't care if they're a Tyson Terry or somebody else who is not as well known and may not end up at Nebraska. They're still going to do their due diligence. And I think that in this town, and not all Omaha kids are created the same. Not everybody wants to stay here. And even some kids have to be convinced that Nebraska is the place for them, because, again, you got to give them something.
Right.
But if you give them attention and you give them love, and you not love of, hey, we want you, but we're paying attention to you, then that goes a long way, because that is opposite of what we've seen over a couple of different coaching staffs when it comes to their approach in Omaha. And I also think it's important in Omaha that Matt Rule has a voice, not, hey, Ed Foley's here or your position coach. It's Matt Rule has a stake in Omaha kids because PJ Fleck comes to town. Kirk Ferentz comes to town. Matt Rule is 45 minutes away. So that goes a long way into strengthening something that was a weakness, and that is Omaha kids thinking, well, are they going to recruit me or not? Well, if they're not recruiting you now, then you're not on their radar at all. But more than likely, if you're a fairly good prospect, you're at least going to get a discussion. Will you get a scholarship? Who knows? But you're at least going to get a discussion, and that hasn't happened in the past.
No, it's a good point about just the head coach presence, because I remember having a conversation a couple of years back where somebody thought maybe the lack of attention on certain in-state products was overblown because, well, last time I checked, they had an offer. Last time I checked, Barrett Root has been there to see them. Or last time I checked, Troy Walters was there to see them. You're right about the head coach, because it's a bad look when you do have, say, a PJ Fleck or a Paul Chryst at the time, or a Kirk Ferentz that are making their way and they're having personal visits. They're having that personal connection with these players, even if they're not, considered to be the best, product. That's where, and this is not to throw the previous regime under the bus or the previous head coach, but when you don't have that, because you're kind of like, well, they're here. I'm not going to waste my resources or my time on the guys in here. I'm going to go out and kind of go throughout the country and try to, be the closer of some of those bigger prospects.
Let's be honest. The last staff, Barrett Root, great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. Way too nice to be recruiting Omaha.
Probably, yeah. Well, but again, that's a position coach though, too. It's not a head coach. If you're talking about just having that attention, at least having that initiation of the head coach is here, being able to initiate that relationship.
And a little bit is Rude makes the first entry,
sure,
but then the head coach is right
exactly.
After. And that's like Ed Foley's the same way. Ed Foley's a super nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Ed Foley does a good job of building relationships, but who's coming after him?
Exactly.
Is it the OC, the DC, in this case, Terrence Knighton, or is it Matt Rule? Now that's where their approach is different, which leads me to believe they have picked the brains of either local coaches or other people that are in the metro that are attached to the Nebraska program on what has happened in the past, why we can't get guys to even give Nebraska a glance when it'd be like, man, that's a no-brainer. You're a legacy guy.
Mm-hmm.
What was the past mistake and what can we do different?
Yep. And having the head coach there being very much involved, where you're face-to-face, where that person exactly is being followed up, even if it's not the entire recruiting process, but there has been that engagement, there's been that initiation. I think it goes a long way.
All right, speaking of legacy, Sam Cook's son committed yesterday as a punter. Camden Cook, living in the Baltimore area, becomes the 9th commitment. This could be a legacy run.
He'll be in the league for 20 years, too.
Benning's kid, Sam Cook's kid. Is Mario Buford considered a legacy?
I mean, yeah,
because his brother plays here.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, you'd have to. Whether it's a father, or, a parent, or a brother. I think if it's a sibling, sure.
Any other Huskers having sex out there? They could drop.
If so, congratulations.
First of all, yes, congratulations on the sex.
Prospect on Rule's front doorstep.
Stay tuned.
Making babies. Contact Ed.
Mm-hmm. Let Ed know.
Guys might think I'm joking. That's serious. I mean, they're on a legacy run.
No, I know that
of finding players.
I think it's great.
No, I mean, Camden Cook. By the way, no pressure. Your dad is one of the greatest punters in the history of Nebraska football and a 16-year vet in the NFL. Right. No pressure, kid.
It worked out.
It's okay that Bussini has 2 years, and when you get here, he'll still have another year. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. No pressure whatsoever.
But you need to be better.
All right, hour in the books. A little bit later, Amy Just will join us. Our basketball guys, Jacob Bigelow and Joel Lorenzi, will stop by. Art Kaluma, by the way, found a home yesterday. I think it's a good home. He is going to Manhattan, Wabash Cannonball. He's going to be doing him some Tang. I think Jerome Tang is perfect for what Art Kaluma wants and needs. That's a good pickup for Kansas State. All of that, we roll till 10. The opening day, or the opening week of the College World Series. The opening day is coming up on Friday. Should know start times later tonight or early tomorrow morning. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backwin Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can't expect a significant delay from 90th to 108th on Dodge. Then on L Street, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from 48th to 42nd. And other than that, it looks like your commute this morning should be pretty smooth, even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott.
Father's Day is right around the corner. Tools, lawn care supplies, homegrown trees, and more. Or give Dad a Lanahaw gift card. Let us help you make this Father's Day extra special. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Their annual 4-person 4th of July Scramble is coming up at 8:30 a.m. on Independence Day. How do you get signed up? Well, you go to their website, miraclehillgolf.com/store. You got to get signed up for this one fast because the spots will go by soon. And give them a call at 402-498-0220 to book your tee times today. They're located just north of Dodge on 120th Street. Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Acura of Omaha has more than 50 new Acuras in stock and ready for immediate delivery. All models, including Integras, TLXs, RDXs, and MDXs. Get the best price in just minutes at AcuraofOmaha.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
This Father's Day, bring something special home from 42 Degrees for the favorite men in your life. How about a Boost EVO from our Dr. Dabber collection? Maybe a nice glass pipe starting at $9.99 or a new grinder for the low price of $11.99. How about Delta products starting at $7.99 or our premium Kratom starting at $9.99? With 9 locations, soon to be 10, the most professional, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, why shop anywhere else? 42 Degrees, by your mom's house.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement Organization, is dedicated to preventing at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children from becoming involved in street gangs, crime, drug use, and victimization. Last year, PACE served over 5,000 area kids with wholesome competition and free participation in soccer, baseball, CrossFit, and flag football. To help PACE and local families make sure kids have access to safe and fun spring and summer activities, please go to paceomaha.org to support the PACE mission. Thank you.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, hour number 2. Been a pretty good season for TCU athletics. They go to the championship game in football. They go to the round of 32 in basketball. Jim Schlossnagle leaves to go to Texas A&M, and they promote his pitching coach, who has turned into one of the best pitch call. Well, he has been. Now it's just more well known. Kirk Saarloos is one of the best pitch callers in all of college baseball, and he brings TCU back to the College World Series. Think about this. So they had a great athletic director, Chris Del Conte, who went to Texas. I thought Del Conte would be great for Nebraska, but once you get to Texas as the AD, that's about as good as it gets. And then they have to promote somebody. But look at how they've done a really good job. They're in a prime spot. They're in the Metroplex. They're in a Power 5 conference. Everybody knows them. They've had success. They've made really good hires off of people that have left or firings. So they go from Gary Patterson, who's got a statue outside of the stadium, to Sonny Dykes. Jamie Dixon he's kind of hung in there because there was a little bit of a down period where he thought, oh, they're going to be in trouble. But now they've turned it around the last 2 years. And they have a really good roster for this upcoming year in the nation's best basketball conference, them in the Big East. And then in baseball, where they've always been good, they could have made a national search, but they had a guy right there. Man, TCU Athletics is in a really, really good spot, and it's been a good year. And it's been a good year for Oral Roberts.
Yeah.
You know, they go unbeaten in the regular season in the Summit League. They roll through the conference tournament. They got Max Asmus. They get to the tournament as a 12 seed out of the Summit League. And they got beat by Duke rather handily, but they made it there. And then baseball, I've been a wagon all season long. Tulsa and Fort Worth have had a nice little college season.
A lot of Whataburger.
Well, I always think about what the recruiting impact can be for when your men's sports has that type of run, what you can do. And you think about, though, the sports that are sort of thriving right now. And you've talked about it many times when we discussed Oral Roberts baseball. And anybody who's followed Summit League baseball, especially once Omaha became Division I, you knew all about Oral Roberts. Nebraska fans remember all about Oral Roberts when they ousted Nebraska in the regional not that long ago. I mean, Oral Roberts has always been able to recruit very well. And anybody who's been in the Oklahoma area, and I saw a couple guys that were on that roster from Edmond, Oklahoma, in the OKC area, like, you've got a very fertile recruiting ground when it comes to your baseball product. So this is only going to enhance that. And you would know this better than I do, following the basketball program too, but their recent run of success and what that has continued to do for the basketball program as well. You know, you think of those smaller schools, because there was a time Oral Roberts, they weren't that great. I mean, they had that little run there where, you know, they were probably in the bottom half of the league. Now it's like, okay, this is the powerhouse. This is sort of the new South Dakota State of the Summit League, and what that, having that appearance in the NCAA tournament, what that can do for recruiting. Like, I think
it's facilities.
So also as well. Yeah.
So their baseball stadium isn't great.
It's okay though.
Yeah, it's a little bit old.
Yeah, it's outdated, but I mean,
but basketball success is they can draw more money for basketball. So they're building, and it's done. It was almost finished when we were down there earlier this year. They've got a new indoor practice facility for basketball.
Okay.
So they've invested a lot of money in basketball, and they play in an older arena, but they have basically gutted the inside of the Mabee Center, and it's a lot nicer.
Okay.
So the facilities have upgraded. Same thing at TCU. TCU went all in on their football stadium, their basketball arena, and if you saw this weekend when they were playing Indiana State, their baseball facility is really nice. So that's the part of winning. I think Omaha basketball, for example, they are in desperate need. Their basketball facilities, and really the facilities outside of hockey, and hockey's not in the Summit League, they are woeful. Baseball, softball, a standalone.
Yeah.
But the other sports that have to use the rundown SAP, they are way behind the North Dakota states, the South Dakota states, the South Dakotas in this league, and even Denver. But if you win, the attention, and then there's the kick in for facilities, and you saw that at ORU, and I think you've seen that at TCU, that they've made a commitment and they've also won. So it's the return on investment. You don't think twice about upgrading as long as you keep winning.
Yeah, absolutely. And the TCU ballpark, as you mentioned too, that one is really nice. Also, while we're on the subject of TCU, Indiana State, real quickly, I know a lot of people were kind of like, wait a minute, TCU, they were a 2 seed, Indiana State was a 1, how that happened. And they didn't put a bid in it for the super regional because they had a Special Olympics event that was going on. Props to the TCU fans, because they not only got a chance to host, but they put in like monster amounts of donations to the Terre Haute Special Olympics chapter, because that's what they were doing. That's why they couldn't host. That's awesome. Like, I mean, not that you need different storylines to sort of gravitate to rooting interest when it comes to the College World Series, but when I hear about fan bases being classy like that, knowing that they were on the receiving end of something where they could have easily not had a home series, and it probably helped them there a little bit too, having it there in Fort Worth and at that ballpark. That was a very classy move. So tip of the cap there, the TCU fans.
Watch out for TCU. TCU and Oral Roberts actually, ironically, play each other. TCU was 23-20 at one point. They were 7-10 in the Big 12, and people were wondering if Sarlos actually was the right hire. And all they've done, they've gone 9-0 in the postseason. So they rolled in the Big 12. They have won 11 in a row. They won the regional in Fayetteville, and then they get the break of being at home, and so they go 2-0 against Indiana State. They're 17-1 in their last 18.
Yeah,
just not only is the field going to be really good, but like the opening round matchups, we're getting Virginia and Florida.
Everybody just forgets about Virginia, by the way.
Well, because you know why? Because they're boring.
They are.
They're really good at being boring.
Yep.
And you know what? They're really good at baseball with Brian O'Connor, who they're coming back again. He's already won a national championship. Yeah, there's nothing flashy about Virginia.
No.
But they have really good players and they have elite pitching. And they play Florida. I mean, look at this. These are the matchups, and we'll get to an update with Jimmy here in just a moment. So you got ORU and TCU are going to play. Then you got Virginia and Florida. Both have elite pitching. Florida's starting pitching is probably not on the level of Kowar and Singer.
Yeah.
Kowar and Singer back in those days when they won a national championship. But they have two studs at the front. That's going to be a fantastic matchup because Virginia has three excellent arms, and they've got bats up and down their lineup. And then you look at also who's playing. You've got the winner of Stanford, Texas, going to play Wake Forest. And then you've got the winner of Southern Miss, Tennessee, playing LSU. And LSU has got a generational talent in Skeens who will be their opening game starter here. The field of eight's not only going to be like really, really juicy, but the opening round matchups are great for the sport of college baseball. All right, we'll have more as we work our way towards Friday. And, of course, you'll hear all the games right here on the Zone. But time for the first time of the week. Let's get an update with Jimmy.
Yeah, Gary's Golden Eagles of Oral Roberts become the lowest seed to make the College World Series since Stony Brook in 2012. They'll play TCU Saturday at the Chuck. Number 1 national seed Wake Forest, Florida, and boring Virginia. Along with old fun friends, LSU will join them. The final 2 teams will be decided this evening, either Tennessee or Southern Miss, and Texas or Stanford. A familiar name will be in a Husker uniform, as we talked about in the last segment, and the Nebraska football team may have found a punter. Camden Cook is the son of former Husker Sam Cook. He announced his commitment yesterday, 9th addition to the Huskers 2024 class, but the best part is how it all started. It all started when he sent film and game tape to Ed in previous months. That led to an invite to one of Matt Rule's camps over the weekend, and then he announced yesterday the NBA season could end tonight in Denver as the Nuggets look to close out the Miami Heat. Nuggets coach Michael Malone wants the Nuggets to turn the clock back to 2020. Why? When they twice overcame a 3-1 series deficit in the Orlando bubble, first to the Utah Jazz in the first round and then to the LA Clippers in the conference semifinals as the Nuggets try to win their first NBA championship in their 47th season Monday night. That would also make them the second former ABA team to win an NBA championship. Malone wants his team to play with that same level of desperation as they did back then, despite the fact that this time around they hold a 3-1 advantage instead of being down in the series, and he was very clear on his message to the team.
Just understand that we haven't done anything. You know, I told our guys the first thing I said, we're not celebrating. It's a good win. We've done our job, but we're not celebrating like we've done anything yet. We know we're going to have to go home and turn off the TV, the radio. Don't read the papers. Don't listen to everybody telling you how great you are because we haven't done a damn thing yet. We have to win another game to be world champions.
So what he's saying is that neither Michael Malone or his team is listening to us right now, so we will not say good morning to them. Tip-off is just after 7:30 tonight, and more news for the Miami Heat.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win.
You're wondering, Kevin Love will play in Game 5. He missed the team flight to Denver for a good reason. He and his wife welcomed the arrival of a baby human on Saturday. Love flew to Denver on his own, arriving in time for the team's film session and media responsibilities on Sunday. He said he planned to get some rest and get some sleep. Also saying that everybody is happy and healthy. On the flip side, it looks like no Tyler Hero. Hey, we're trying anything to motivate.
Kevin Love
Anything.
is happy? Is that what you're telling me, Kevin?
They need anything because it doesn't look good. They look tired Friday night.
Yeah, so they're 2-6. They went up 3-1. They're on team. Back to the last game. Miami outside of it's been woeful. And oh, by the way, they're playing a really, really good team.
Denver's a better team.
Aaron Gordon is abusing Jimmy Butler. Their defense, Denver's turned up their defense. Now Miami will compete tonight, and they will have a belief that they can win. And then there's reality, because I think in all series, there comes a point where you realize the other team is better than you, and then that kicks in.
Yeah.
And that kind of kicked in the middle of Game 3 in Miami. I mean, Denver is on an epic run here. Denver should be talked about more of their run and the kind of team they are, but the Heat are on fumes. So I expect tonight we will have a moment where we'll hand the trophy to a guy in a suit, and we will have a celebration in Denver, and the Nuggets, who have this supreme confidence outside of Michael Porter Jr., will be the NBA champion.
Yeah.
Crazy about people that are in suits and ties with the NBA, because it's the sport where you hand the trophy first to that person, not like hockey, where you hand it to somebody in a sweaty uniform that's missing teeth and hasn't shaved in 6 months.
And their gloves probably smell
and then
too,
also
which
in
could
the
happen tomorrow.
This also in the NBA is, do we trust a person in a suit and tie with a wrench and a ladder? So Bam Adebayo,
Yeah.
who I think you get 40 seconds to hang on the rim in the NBA.
Yeah, it's a T.
So they had to level the rim. They had to make sure that it was okay. But instead of like an arena worker, a guy in a suit and tie came out and fixed the basket. And I thought, wow, that's interesting, because if you know any copier fixer people.
I remember them from when we had to have a copier fixer.
Yeah, how are they dressed?
Usually pretty cash, like a polo, maybe some khakis.
Yeah, or they wear a tie.
Short sleeve shirt and a tie.
They're going into businesses.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like short sleeve and a tie. They're not knocking on your door trying to tell you about what they believe in or ask for some money. They're coming in to fix your copier. Okay. So I don't know if that's the same case when you have in the NBA finals, when you have to fix the basket, is you have the suit and tie guy.
You're among suits.
But a suit and tie guy, maybe that's how we roll in the 305.
Gotta look nice. It's Miami.
But in the regular season, maybe you're allowed to be business cash. You don't have to have the suit on. You
Or
don't
it's
have to
just
be
a
formal.
guy, or just a guy that's got the normal arena uniform. He's
Yeah.
got black on black, and he hustles out there and fix it. But
Could
instead,
be.
we had a suit and tie guy climbing the ladder to fix the
Yeah,
rim.
I expect maintenance guys, when it comes to fixing that, would even still be wearing some cargo pants and maybe a polo, but it's probably a little disheveled. You're presentable, but you're also you're getting your hands dirty.
I mean, he could have looked like Jimmy Goldstein up there. Now that would have been Miami. I'd have been all for it.
All right, we're off to the offseason. We're going to pick up Dame Lillard. So all you people that are crying for Miami, don't worry. We're going to be fine. We're on fumes right now, but we're going to be fine in the offseason.
You know what, though? I if you are a Miami fan, I think you are going to be fine, because look at your organization. Like, I mean, is it a fluke that they've been in the finals now, the 2 of the last 4, or the conference finals 3 of the last 4? And everybody can talk all they want to about, and I don't even like bringing up the undrafted free agents, but I know that's
Reggie's bit.
Yeah, it's been a part of the postseason conversation. But between Pat Riley and Spo, what they're able to identify what they need. Is Jimmy Butler the answer? He's an answer, but is he the answer where you can continue to go down this road and win a title with that route? No, they're going to look at what they need, whether it's Dame, probably not Kyrie, but you're looking at somebody else. Like they find, and see, Kyrie, that wouldn't be him.
Dame would be great.
Not even a chance.
That wouldn't be a Pat Riley thing either. Nope. But I would, if I'm a Heat fan, I would believe in the offseason. I would believe in that organization.
We had a good run. The team that they are going to lose the finals to is a really, really good basketball team.
Would it shock you, though, if they did steal one? I mean, in 2020, they were down 3-1. They won one game. Now, they weren't going to win, but if they pushed it to a game 6.
Marlins are the story. The Marlins have 20 comeback wins. The hockey team and the NBA team are down 3-1. It's okay. Don't come back home and lose the finals.
Just get it over with.
Get it over
Yeah.
with tonight and tomorrow on the road. Had a nice season. Just, you don't want it to be at home when you lose.
That's true.
Okay, that's like
I've always thought that too.
I'm thinking about this about Alabama yesterday. Alabama got beat 22-5. Their season ended. I think I'd rather have it that way than to lose like 5-4 on a walk-off.
Oh yeah.
Just if you're going to get beat, just get crushed. The
No
season
second
is
guessing.
over. You can sit in the dugout and think about, okay, the initial, man, I'm bummed. But then you got time to think, we had a great season.
Yep. By the time the ninth inning and that last out's recorded, you're already kind of over it. Not maybe over it, but you've already kind of conceded.
Handshaking and just some head nods.
You've been able to, yes, as you mentioned, kind of reflect on what was a great run.
Yeah, history's not on the side of the Heat or the Panthers.
Nice little brawl there at the end, though.
That was exciting. Yeah.
It just got broken up too quickly. But yeah, I will admit this, though. I thought the Panthers would have a little bit more. I thought this series would have a shot at maybe seeing a Game 7 between the Panthers and the Golden Knights.
Hey, I'm just impressed the Panthers
Vegas
got
is
Game
good.
3.
When you've beat the very best in all of hockey, and then the run that they went on after that, maybe they are. Maybe they're kind of on fumes now at this point too. But I thought that series would be a little closer, but so be it.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. 7:20. Amy Just coming up in the next hour. Wrote a really, really good story on a good dude, friend of mine, Garth Glissman, who is one of the vice presidents in the NBA. I don't know if he's in Omaha today or if he's in New York or he's in Denver. I just texted him. He has not responded. We'll have to get him on. But a good story on a really, really good guy and a journey for Garth Glissman, among other things. We'll chat with Amy. And, of course, Jacob Bigelow stops by. Mongolian Mike. The Mongolian Grill in Lincoln was not something that could persuade him. He decided I'd rather be in a city that has a lot more Mongolians. So he is committed to San Francisco. True story. And then we will talk to Joel Lorenzi, as Art Kaluma has picked this spot. And we move on. We are into the full offseason of college basketball. All right, 7:21. It's mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. All right, we have made it to the big baseball event going on beginning in this week downtown. Don't forget, this upcoming Sunday, which is Father's Day, Tickets for Less has the ultimate baseball tailgate. For more information, go to the website, ticketsforless.com. And then once we are through baseball, we are on to football, whether it be the Huskers or the Chiefs. And Tickets for Less is the place for you. You can find the best seats, the best selection, and zero per ticket fees for the Chiefs or the Huskers or anything else at ticketsforless.com. Now, we're going to make it even better on you for being a valued listener. Tell your friends. When you go to ticketsforless.com or you download the free Tickets for Less app, use the promo code THEZONE at checkout to get a discount on your next order. That is the zone at checkout, where you'll never have per ticket fees. Just go to ticketsforless.com.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
I feel the need to stand up for bunting. I feel as if it has been crusaded against. I feel as if there is a war on bunting, Josh. They hate bunting. They hate giving up outs. Nerds. It was started by that line in Moneyball where Billy Beane says, never bunt. You're giving up an out. And I'm here to tell you it's still good for something. So, once again, Connor Happer here for bunting.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Fantastic weather on the way for Monday. After a cool start, expect to warm up quickly with mostly sunny skies. Winds remain light through the afternoon with highs in the upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Are you sick of spring allergies and itchy contacts? Get rid of them today at KuglerVision.com.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 67th to 50th along L Street. On Dodge, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from 94th to 77th. And along Highway 370, it looks like there's going to be a minor delay from 150th to the I-80 East ramp. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Reason 16 to celebrate 30 years of Fernando's.
Of course, a new pair of sandals means tacos. Hey, you don't make the rules.
Winner of first place in 2023's Best of Omaha's Best Mexican Restaurant. Come in and get your Fernando's fix.
Fun fact, did you know gorillas burp when they're happy? Really? I'm glad humans don't have that issue, as it would create some awkward moments. Dave and Ryan Osted here with Osted's Golf. Looking for your happiness on the course? Book your fitting appointment today with Osted's, the nation's top 100 fitter from Callaway, Ping, Mizuno, and Golf Digest. Why get fit? On average, golfers gain 19 yards off the tee and drop their handicap by 10%. Wow, results like that will make any golfer happy. Stop in today or book your appointment on Osteds.com. All burps will be taken as a compliment.
No matter how dark it gets, there's always a sunrise, a warm bed, a warm meal, and hope. Sienna Francis House serves hope to those experiencing homelessness and addiction. Every day, we provide more than 1,000 meals and serve nearly 500 guests in our emergency shelter, Miracles Recovery Program, and supportive housing apartments, and help our guests navigate a path to permanent housing. Learn more at siennafrancis.org.
You never know who might be hiding a problem with sports betting because it can affect anyone. Dads, moms, teachers, lawyers, blue collar, white collar, PhDs, community heroes. But there's one thing we want you to know. It doesn't matter who you are. What does matter is getting help. Contact 1-800-BETS-OFF. No judgment, just help. Be number one at getting help.
Brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Health and Heartland Family Service.
We're live at Funplex in Omaha asking some experts what the best part of summer here is at the park. So, what do you guys think?
Motion Ocean, the slides, the lazy river, splash, double trouble.
Whoa, one at a time. Whoa!
We got this. Riding the waves of the Motion Ocean. Next, double trouble. A trapdoor drops, and suddenly you're rocketing down a slide feet first. Yeah, but what about music and lights inside Rockin' Rapids?
Okay. I guess experts have spoken. This summer, let the fun drop at Funplex. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
The Omaha Farmers Market is celebrating 30 years of farm fresh, locally grown produce, May 6th through October 15th. Open rain or shine in the Old Market every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and in Exarban Village every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To keep up with what's in season, visit omahafarmersmarket.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Presented by Methodist Health System with media sponsors KETV Channel 7 and Sweet 98.5.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source by your mom's house.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Yesterday, the Canadian Open, which for the last 2 years we've had kind of an interesting spot in the calendar. Remember last year when they held the Canadian Open?
Yeah, that's when all the announcers. Well,
it was the first tournament that was up against Liv in London, and Rory shot a 62 to win.
Right,
he was great.
And then the week leading up to this one,
yep,
there was some news.
So they go to a playoff yesterday. So it's Tommy Fleetwood and Canadian Nick Taylor. You're playing in the Canadian Open. It has been eons. Wayne Gretzky was playing still when they were thinking about a Canadian win in the Canadian Open.
54 or something like that?
Yes.
Can't win a Stanley Cup.
I think it was like 54 or something.
So they go to a playoff, and it was a playoff that you could not look away because it was an absolute train wreck. I mean, it just was a brutal playoff. Guys hitting it in the stands. I mean, it just, you were like, I can't stop watching. And then you're like, man, I could do that. Well, none of us could do what Nick Taylor did. He hit a 72-foot putt to win the playoff, and that is the call from Jim Nantz. That is a great call on CBS yesterday.
That's one of his all-timers.
Yeah, it was
Glorious,
just kind of slid it in there.
And free.
Glorious and free, and then the celebration that ensued on the green, which we saw that a security guard working the Canadian Open is from the CFL.
Yeah.
Adam Hadwin,
Terry Tate, corporate linebacker.
Adam Hadwin, who was out there to celebrate, with his fellow Canadian,
Mm-hmm.
got trucked by the security guard because he had no idea who he was. And I mean, the form tackling was unbelievable.
Oh, he ran right through it.
He lifted the legs up
Seriously,
too.
this guy should be playing for the Argonauts.
And I believe the head was up, everything,
Yeah.
see what you
and,
hit.
And then after he hits him, everybody's like, "Oh, whoa, you don't know who that is." And how would the security guard know?
He was just dressed in normal clothes. He didn't have golf polo and pants on, or like he just finished a round. Like you could tell. I mean, you couldn't tell that he was part of the field, and his fellow countrymen just trying to. He comes at him spraying champagne. I mean, if I'm a security guard and see some guy just wearing shorts and a shirt, some random dude.
The thing was out of control because they showed one guy that had stolen the flag stick on 9 and was running around the course with it. And then as they were switching holes on the playoff, people were like running across the course and they were like mobbing the golfers. It was
a golf country there.
It was a wild scene. But as Nance hits the call, which again was really, really good, it was awesome. And the emotion of Taylor is he was it him or Engelman was saying that's one of the greatest moments in Canadian sports history. And I'm thinking, are we forgetting about Joe Carter's walk-off? Or Jose Batista's bat flip against the Rangers in the postseason?
2016.
Is it really going to eclipse both of those?
Well, considering the droughts.
What about Yari Curry scoring for the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, I feel like there's probably a host of hockey moments that you could probably go with there as well. But given the droughts of the RBC Canadian Open not having a Canadian win, and the fact that you do it on a 72-foot eagle putt, it's up there. And that call will help. But then, the aftermath, the reaction of the crowd was fantastic. I mean, that was like a scene on number 16 at TPC Scottsdale.
Glorious and free, and he's not a live golfer.
Now, oh gosh, what if that happened?
I can't remember the last time I heard Nance get that excited. Good thing Tony wasn't there to scream over him.
Well, because you could tell that he was starting to get a little perturbed by how bad the playoff golf was.
I don't think Jim puts up with bad golf. You shouldn't. I've seen too much good golf.
No, you know what? It's nice, though, to hear from broadcasters that aren't complaining about their sport and they enjoy the sport that they're calling.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike a couple of college baseball play-by-play guys this weekend that I heard that it's like, oh, we're going to have to stay another day in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
Well, there's no Applebee's there.
That guy working with Todd Walker ain't having none of that.
Todd
Todd Walker loves college baseball.
Mm-hmm.
His play-by-play guy is like, well, look at the weather. Hey, we might get to go home. Oh, we're going to have to stay. Don't be a jabroni, okay?
Yeah.
They pay you to stay.
Yeah, you're getting paid to do the games, all right? People that watch college baseball, it's not really a fringe audience, maybe this time of the year, but people that have passion for college baseball are watching. At least pretend like you like college baseball when you're doing the play-by-play of a regional.
So I want to ask you about the play-by-play coverage, by the way, for all the super regionals, because obviously I didn't get a chance to see everything as it happened when I was in Mexico. Roxy Bernstein, they were not in Eugene, right? They had to be off-site doing that game because and the reason I bring it up is, do you remember there was the moment in the fifth inning, Holden Breeze, the third baseman for Oral Roberts, makes this unbelievable catch in foul territory right over the dugout. And so it's a foul ball, and they're like, all right, there's a foul ball out of play. And all of a sudden, they're not talking about Holden Breeze even going over there. And all of a sudden, the camera just catches Holden Breeze like, oh, guys, I think they might make a play on this. And then he makes a catch. And then they were 3 seconds later, like, wait a minute, that ball came back in, and he caught it. And I immediately thought, I don't think they're on location.
I know that they had one regional they were not at. I thought they were going to be at all 8 supers.
The call, and then after that, I kind of paid a little closer attention to the timing. It felt like that one might have been off location, unless they just completely sort of botched that call. And Roxy Bernstein's done enough games, but that to me was weird, and I thought immediately they're not in Eugene, and if they're not, that's too bad.
I think they were, because he referenced they were talking in the later game because he's doing the White Sox Dodger game at Dodger Stadium, and he was talking about leaving Eugene and going down to Dodger Stadium.
Well, then maybe that was it was a very awkward, sort of weird moment then, where either their monitors or their eyes themselves did them a disservice, because it was like, wait a minute, what the heck just happened there?
Maybe so that's a minor league ballpark. Well, so it's Oregon's ballpark. They rent it out to the minor league team.
Mhm.
I'm guessing that the TV facilities are not the greatest.
So the sidelines are probably
Yeah.
a little challenging.
Or where they're at, they might be scrunched into something.
Yeah, could be.
That'd be disappointing if they were not.
That's what I was going to say. If they were,
there was one super they were not at. It always seems like it's Fayetteville where the announcers are not at, because the announcers weren't in Fayetteville when Nebraska and Arkansas played there.
Right.
I think they were at all
Okay.
8.
Good.
That'd be disappointing.
I think it would be too.
Not. All right. Coming up, Amy Just, we got Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi. Tom Chattel did his job yesterday. So after all of the scheduling stuff that came out at the end of last week, Tom wrote a column about the future for Nebraska in terms of scheduling in the Big Ten, and how, possibly some of the more marquee games on here. I said the other day, I wonder what's going to happen to that 25 trip to Cincinnati, because the home portion of that got X because of COVID. Will Nebraska still go there in 25? So Tom did his job as a columnist. He wrote a column. It's an opinion column. He got people to discuss it, and people this morning are still discussing his column yesterday. I also noticed it created quite the fervor on social media with non-Nebraska media. Then it became Nebraska fans, and Scott Docterman was it was a minefield yesterday in a discussion. So here's what happens a lot is you read the headline and you don't read the article. There was, from non-Nebraska media, they had the slumming it.
Yep. Some of the Big Ten West.
The line in the story is slumming in the Big Ten West. You've got to read the entire column to try and figure out what was going on, because people were headliners, and then it just turned into Nebraska fans, media against outside media. Now, there already is the perception, and it comes a little bit from Iowa, because I was privy to sitting in the press box one of the first years in the Big Ten, and there's Iowa writers that are making fun of Nebraska writers. Oh, this is uncomfortable, and this is uncalled for. Calling them experts, and very not enduring terms. Okay, and I don't know what their past history is, whatever.
Oh.
But I know that the Nebraska media across the conference are not held in high regard. That's okay. I think there's a lot of jealousy of resources that are put towards covering the football program that other places don't have. That's fine. We around here, we have something that people want, and we cover it. Whether we do a good job or not, we cover it. I'm sure you wish you had the same kind of passion. But we all have our job to do, and I'm not going to step on your job. You don't step on my job. But there has always been that sentiment of, knocking Nebraska media, maybe even to the point of mocking. So if you read the column, you've got an opinion. Okay, that's what a columnist is. But the two people that matter, and they're the only two people that matter, are the athletic director and the head football coach. And what Tom was writing about and what Trev and Matt Rule were saying were completely different. Okay? But I didn't have a problem with what he said, because this is what, and I'm going to get on my soapbox here, and I'm going to get a little upset, and I'm going to get a little ranty. You ready? Is we got to stop around here worrying about other people. When it comes to Nebraska football, what other people think about Nebraska football, whether those people are trying to still put us in a box that we all think this is the 90s. Brother, I'm telling you, people around here don't walk around daily going, man, we had the 90s, and I wish we could get back to the 90s. There might be some of those people, but you know what? We've done a good job of muting them people.
Yeah.
Okay, we are more realistic around here. And we need to, as a fan base, as a media core, stop worrying about other people in your own conference until you get your house fixed. Okay, and still you hold up the end of your bargain on why you were brought into the Big Ten. Nebraska, outside of 1 year, has not done that. Okay, they haven't finished better than 5th in the Big Ten West since 2017. We need to stop worrying about other people. People want to talk about the schedule the other day. Oh my God, look at 24 and 25. Hell, Nebraska has trouble with Northwestern. You can't start talking about other people in your own division until you fix your own house. And right now, Nebraska's house hasn't been really good. Okay, so you don't go picking on other people. You fix your own house, and then you say, all right, what do we got in front of us in the West? And you can start to knock down those streaks of, loses a 7-8 against Iowa, loses a 10-11 against Wisconsin. Stop worrying about other people. Worry about yourself. Okay? And this is where I'm encouraged, because the two people that are in charge and their voices matter the most, that's what they're thinking.
Exactly.
We'll fix ourselves before we start worrying about anybody else. And that's what we need to do instead of, oh my God, Iowa's making fun of us. You know what? Fix yourself. And people won't be making fun of you. Okay? And people will be like, oh, damn. Because this is when I look at the schedule and tie and everything together is when Nebraska came into the league, it was a bonus for the Big Ten. They're like, here we go. We've got this program that's got a fan base. We've got history. We've got a program that's playing really well. What a great pickup. So they were given a difficult schedule at the beginning because people wanted to see Nebraska play. And Nebraska couldn't live up to the expectations the Big Ten had for them coming in. And there's a whole litany of reasons. The transition from the Big 12 to the Big 10. There's a lot of things. But outside of 1 year, Nebraska hasn't been playing in the postseason. So you worry about your own house and you fix your own house. And then you know what? You open up the door and you go, what do we got? And then you start to weave your way through the West. And you figure out, bam, not losing to Northwestern. Bam, not losing to Illinois. You know how long the losing streak is to Illinois? Do you know how long the losing streak is to Minnesota?
Minnesota, that would be, we got 4 years now.
Okay. How many to Illinois?
Illinois would be 2 years. 3 years.
What are we talking about here, boys? Purdue and Illinois have been to more bowl games than Nebraska has since 2016. Purdue's been to 4 bowl games since 16. Illinois has been to 2. Okay? Worry about yourself. That's what we all need to do. Worry about Nebraska. And the two guys that are in charge are worrying about Nebraska. They're not worrying about anybody else. And then you know what? When you open up the front door and you start to navigate what is left of the West Division, let's be honest, the West Division hasn't held up their own end of the bargain. And for the most part, we like to beat our chests in the Big Ten, and we got all this money, and we have something that I think should be bigger and promoted more. The Big Ten hasn't held up their end of the bargain. Penn State, 86. Nebraska, Michigan, 97. Ohio State, 2014. We all got issues. But in Nebraska's case, you got to worry about yourself. Take care of yourself. Fix yourself. And this is what I see with the new schedule for 24 and 25. You know what the Big Ten just gave Nebraska? They gave Nebraska a restart because somebody said Nebraska may have made the right hire in Matt Rule. And so 24, not a bad schedule, manageable, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be year 2. 25, man, we think Nebraska and Matt Rule in year 3 are going to be rolling. They're going to have some marquee games. Those are going to be some big games for our conference. Welcome Ohio State, Michigan, UCLA, and USC. That's how I looked at the schedule. And I'll give you another thing. The people in Lincoln who are taking care of themselves, they don't give a damn about Northwestern because it's already tough to beat Northwestern. It's already tough to beat Illinois, tough to beat Purdue, tough to beat Minnesota. And then you got to talk about the two guys that have run the league, Iowa, and then the team that has run the division, not the league, the division, in Wisconsin, where you've lost 10 of 11. Those people are going, man, that's a good hire. But here's why the fix yourself before you worry about others, I think will be sooner than later. They've done something in Lincoln. So they went through spring. Internally, they have said to themselves, we are a year ahead of where we thought we would be. Like year 3 of Matt Rule, they're 21-7. They have said internally, they are a year ahead. They have also said, in trying to make sure that everybody is realistic and knows what's going on, because they're very good communicators about the message, they are going to keep the core together. And we're talking their third-year sophomores, their juniors, some seniors that have an extra year. Stick with us. This year's going to be rocky. Okay, we're going to go through the ups and downs as we get to know each other. We're going to try and get to a bowl game, but just be aware that it could be rocky this year. It's not all of a sudden we're going to snap our fingers and we're going to 11 football games. But if you stick with us in the 23 season, we're going to get you to a bowl game worthwhile in 24. That's why I think when this schedule came out, the Big Ten said, push the reset button on the expectations for Nebraska, because now by year 3 of Matt Rule, year 2 of this schedule, they're going to have a schedule of teams that are competitive, and it's not going to be, oh boy, here we go again. So it elicited quite the conversation. People on the other side of the river are fighting. People are fighting, but you know what? I don't care about you. Nebraska doesn't fix what's in their own house. Man, you got no shot, and we're just in a little hamster wheel right here.
Yeah, and the only thing I could really add to that is seeing a lot of the back and forth on Thursday. And this wasn't even back and forth. This was more reaction to the schedule of the 2025 schedule. And there was a lot of reference made towards the 2020, the COVID, version 3.0 of, they're just hammering Nebraska with the schedule. And to me, for lack of a better word, that's a loser mentality. If you are looking at it from those lens of the Big Ten yet again is out to get us, they're going to now throw USC and UCLA, Ohio State and Michigan. My gosh, they're out to get us. I don't like this. To me, that's a loser mentality. What I like immediately when Trev Alberts is commenting on this is these are great opportunities. And at the end of the day, we got to win these games. As opposed to, even having when Bill Moose kind of cued the violin in 2020, whether you felt it was justified or not. And I understand what Bill Moose was trying to do, but nobody's going to feel sorry for Nebraska. It's just never going to happen. And so if you can look at it in the lens that, and I would agree with you too, that Matt Rule also sees it, but especially Trev Alberts of these are opportunities. This isn't the Big Ten trying to, chip away at us or tee off on us. These are opportunities. This is an opportunity for our brand. And by 2025, we should be winning those games. That's why we put all the investment into this coach and this coaching staff. That's what you want to hear. And there's always going to be the fan out there that feels like the Big Ten sort of has an axe to grind with Nebraska for whatever reason. I don't get it. It's just there. Because of 2020, it's there. But if you can look at it from what you just laid out there, which you did fabulously, by the way, it starts from within. What is this group now doing to try to change that narrative? Because the narrative is always going to be the same about Nebraska until they do change that. And so if you are someone who wants to get all worked up and get into these debates and throw the whole, how many national titles have you won? That's a you problem. But you're going to end up looking foolish. Just focus on what your program is trying to do to fix that. Look on what is being said from the very top of how they are approaching the changing Big Ten conference and go from that lead.
Well, this is a whole Big Ten thing. Okay. Nebraska, yes, has not had the return on investment. League still makes a lot of money.
Yep.
But Nebraska, in having a place and a seat, they've not followed up. The Big Ten West, since we split up from legends and leaders to East and West, the Big Ten West has not held up their end of the bargain. They have not won a championship game, getting beat 59-0, 16-13, 38-31, 27-21, 45-24, 34-21, 22-10, 42-3, 43-22. Those are the 9 games that have been played. 9 games that have been played as the Big Ten championship between the East and the West.
Mm-hmm.
For God's sake, Big Ten West football, Northwestern was in the championship game in 18 and 20. That football program is 4-20 in the last 2 years. But it's not a Big Ten West thing. It actually is going back, it's a whole Big Ten thing. We like to beat our chests, but at some point you got to show it on the field.
Exactly.
Haven't had a national championship in almost a decade. Last year came close to having 2 teams playing the title game. One was closer than the other. The other, who we expected to be there, laid a major egg.
Mm-hmm.
The other one almost pulled a major upset if Ryan Day wouldn't have thought, 50-yard field goal in college football is a chip shot. So this whole discussion, the Big Ten needs to worry about themselves, fix themselves, whereas Nebraska all the way up to the top to Michigan. Now, Michigan looks like they fixed themselves, but we don't know until they start playing football in December if it works or not.
True.
I asked the question out loud, though, and think about this. So in this day and age of expansion and where the Big Ten is, and let's go back to the transition of 09, 10 around here to 11 when you start when Nebraska makes the transition. Let's say the Big Ten decided not to expand. And Nebraska's staying in the Big 12. Texas is still in the Big 12. But all of a sudden, Texas is a pain in the butt. And they're even more than a pain in the butt than they were back in 08, 09, and 10. And the Big Ten is putting out feelers that they want to expand because they think that there's this world of streaming that we're just finding out about, and they're going to make a lot of money. Would Nebraska still be appealing to the Big Ten today if they were expanding?
Oof.
This is a great question. I've thought of this before too.
Because that brand is still a national brand, but it has lost a lot of luster.
The momentum would be nowhere near what it was in 2010.
You know, you had a football product at the time that was in conference championship games, seconds away from, defeating a team that was playing for a national championship in Texas.
Top 10 in 2010. They rolled Missouri and
I don't feel good about that. No, I do not feel good about that.
951-1620. If Nebraska's place in the Big Ten, well, that's my little rant here. Nebraska's place with Nebraska, but if the Big Ten was expanding and they had not expanded before, so there was no Maryland, there was no Rutgers, there was no Nebraska, in 2023, would Nebraska still be a viable candidate to be offered a place in the Big Ten? All right, 7:51 as we come up on halftime. Amy Just will join us coming up the next hour. Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi. The NBA season could be over tonight. Game 5. Nuggets 8.5-point favorite for the tip out in Denver, where you have sacrificed your first and second born to get tickets for the game tonight.
No, I haven't sacrificed it. But yeah.
That one porn star that was in row 2 Friday night says she's going to be there tonight. Oh, yeah. You didn't hear about that? Oh, she was all the rage.
Oh, no.
Now, Jimmy, I don't know what your porn consumption is. Like, are you an ex-hamster or a Pornhub guy? Now, we're kind of confusing OnlyFans with porn.
They're
right?
different.
What's on your OnlyFans? Is it straight porn or is it just like...
I don't have an OnlyFans.
Like funky cigarette stuff.
Selling things.
I think it would, if I had one, it'd be more funky cigarette stuff.
Be a great band name.
I heard somebody this weekend that smokes a lot of weed. They go, yeah, once in a while, I like that funky cigarette. And I'm like, you vape? How dumb was I?
I've never heard a funky cigarette either.
They go, yeah, from time to time, I like to have a funky cigarette. And I'm like, you vape? And they just stared at me, and I'm like, dang.
Like a parliament?
Missed that one.
So wait a minute.
A P-Funk.
So there was a porn star in row 2?
Yeah, and she kept showing up in the broadcast.
Be in the front row?
She
I think it was row
maybe
2.
wanted to stay a little bit out of the...
One margarita. You guys are on the TikTok, so you haven't seen that new trend?
No.
2 margaritas out. 3 margaritas out.
Actually, I know exactly what this is. I heard it yesterday.
If you come home and your wife is on to the 5 margarita song, Nick,
we're going to have a good day.
You're going to have a great day.
Child 2's on the way.
Yep. I don't know if she ever got up to 5 margaritas on the trip, but...
Did you get to 4?
Oh, yeah, easily.
Oh.
I did ask him about the TV.
Jimmy?
What is the association of 4?
In the break, explain to him when you
you
new
get to
5
4?
margarita TikTok song, when you get to 4, what happened?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You must have hey, good on you. You keep the kids at home and things get crazy for the Handleys.
Looking forward to finding out what this means.
So row 2.
So there was
why would you put her in row 1?
I don't know. I saw this story right before bed last night.
Yeah.
So during the broadcast,
of course you did.
Yeah. So during the broadcast, there's this girl. She was a fan, an only fan. I don't know, but she kept showing up on the broadcast, and I cannot remember. I did see a name, and she had been active on Twitter afterwards, saying that she'll be in Denver for Game 5.
Okay,
and if it's back in Miami for Game 6, she'll be there too.
She's taking appointments in Game 4 as well. I guess she's a porn star. She's not a. You're not saying she's an escort then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she kind of got buried over the whole Conor McGregor Bernie story.
Yeah.
So that was the big story of Friday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mascot got knocked out by Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go to the ER.
I'm just saying.
This dragging him off the court was the best part of it.
He just got knocked out by Conor McGregor.
I might be the only one in town watching that game tonight. Me and Connor.
Still got it.
I'll watch the game.
People will be watching college baseball. I'll be watching my Heat season.
I'm an
come to
NBA
an
guy
end.
though, so it's
Yeah,
gonna stick with it to the end.
I'm hopeful it's a good game. Maybe we get to push this thing
Oh,
again.
they'll compete, but there's competing and then there's reality.
They will compete, and in the
True.
fourth quarter, they'll finally wear down, and Joker put them away.
All right. 54 past the hour. Yep.
I'm ready to see what this 4 margarita thing is.
D-Pick says on the stream, hello, we are in the quad box today. Oh, we've changed a lot of things since you've been here.
Oh, quad box in it?
They absolutely are still considering Nebraska even after the struggles. 100% the financial implications of adding the Nebraska brand is too tempting to not pursue for a conference. But D, Nebraska's not in the AAU. All about academics.
Yeah. I mean, the academic part is, I believe, is very appealing, but
We care about academics until that 1,500-yard rusher shows up on campus. Score touchdowns, baby.
Yes.
Just put in the end zone.
Exactly.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone.
And baseball is back for another exciting summer, getting ready for the big weekend. And Templeton Rye is bringing a few all-stars of their own. With an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and the all-new 10-year reserve, Templeton Rye is the perfect way to celebrate your home team. Templeton Rye has a history that is almost rich as baseball itself. With a fire that was lit generations ago, Templeton Rye whiskey is the strong, spirited, with a new look and the same bold taste. You can celebrate this year with Templeton Rye whiskey for the strong, spirited. And again, check out the all-star team, but also be sure to check out the Templeton Rye Distillery. It is just a short drive from Omaha, and you can see that. Also, be able to find out the history. Go to TempletonDistillery.com to find more about that, and also some great recipes for the weekend, including an old-fashioned, maybe a Templeton Sour, or an Iowa Mule. Again, visit the Templeton Distillery and learn the history of a local legacy and what goes into distillery-exclusive releases. Templeton Rye Whiskey, and you can check them out on Instagram as well. Enjoy responsibly. Templeton Rye Spirits, Templeton, Iowa, Rye Whiskey.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Are you ready for the biggest party of the year? Nickelback with a live show unlike any other. October 3rd, Pinnacle Bank Arena. Nickelback, the Get Rollin' Tour with Brantley Gilbert and Josh Ross. Tickets on sale Tuesday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Nickelback, Get Rollin'.
Tired of having a website that doesn't reflect the quality of your brand? At JM Online, we specialize in custom websites for unique business needs. Your website should be more than just a digital billboard. It should be a powerful tool that grows your business. Awarded Omaha's best web developers in 2023, we're dedicated to local business success. So if you're ready to take your website to the next level, go to jmonline.com and request a call.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement Organization, is dedicated to preventing at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children from becoming involved in street gangs, crime, drug use, and victimization. PACE provides an opportunity to develop discipline, self-esteem, and positive moral values through wholesome competition and free participation in soccer, baseball, CrossFit, and flag football. To help PACE and local families make sure kids have access to safe and fun spring and summer activities, please go to paceomaha.org to support the PACE mission. Thank you.
There's nothing quite like listening to the Kansas City Royals line ball to deep left. To the wall. Leaps. On 1620 The Zone.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Back comes the Lincoln. Oh, next.
We've,
Boys.
Hey, we got Nick up to speed.
I don't kiss and tell or other things and tell.
I don't know how to do that.
We share a lot of stuff. Keep that to yourself.
Yep.
It's good.
I don't want to see it on your Facebook
All I
or
gotta
your
say
Instagram
is
or your Twitter or on your message board.
The Cadillac margaritas be strong. That's all I got to say.
I can just tell you, you can take your wife to Nickelback on October 3rd at Pinnacle Bank Arena as they bring their Get Rollin' 2023 tour. You can have 4 margaritas at the show.
Right there.
Yeah. Enter to win a pair of tickets to the show now at 1620thezone.com.
We come back. I went to a beef game. I went to the beef
Did you?
on Saturday.
Yeah. How's T. Armstrong?
I went to the beef game on Saturday night. Halftime, I almost saw a player fight another dude in the stands.
Really?
I will explain my experience in my first ever Omaha beef game at Ralston Arena. They are passionate about their beef football. I will say that. And they're good. They're playing in the final. They play Salina next week.
Okay.
Most hated rivals.
But I got some observations of a little Omaha beef. We got Amy Just coming up in the next hour as well. College World Series, 2 spots are open. Quinn Matthews will not be pitching today for Stanford after throwing 156 pitches last night to keep the Stanford season alive. And Keith Law is triggered. He was woken up in the middle of the night, and he hasn't gone back to bed. He's just tweeting a fool. 8:02. It's mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. All right, almost time to crown an NBA champion. It actually could happen today. FanDuel wants you to be part of the excitement. You don't want to miss out on the NBA because new customers get a no-sweat first bet of $2,500. You got maybe one more opportunity, $2,500 back in bonus bets. If your first bet doesn't win tonight, Nick, the Nuggets are an 8.5-point favorite.
It's an 8.5 that I hate to say I kind of like. But the great thing about FanDuel is you get the great promotions every day. Safe and secure app, and best yet, paid instantly. No better place to bet all the finals action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/zone and get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com/zone. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown near 90th and L. Then on Center, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown near Bob Boozer Drive. And other than that, it looks like your commute this morning should be pretty smooth, even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Lus Hills Harley-Davidson.
Riding season is here, and it's time to trade in and trade up. Or, if you ain't riding it, Lus Hills Harley-Davidson is buying it. Sell your Harley-Davidson today. Lus Hills Harley-Davidson. Rise up and ride on.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Attention football fans. It's always football. The wait is almost over, and if you're looking for tickets to see your favorite teams this upcoming fall, Tickets for Less is your go-to destination for the best selection of tickets, whether you love the Huskers, the Chiefs, or all of the above. Tickets for Less never charges service fees on tickets. Never, ever. They also offer fully transparent pricing, which is key, which you also will save big money at checkout over the other sites. Plus, you can save even more on your next ticket order with ticketsforless.com when you use the promo code THEZONE at checkout. Simply enter the code THEZONE now and save at ticketsforless.com.
As a business owner, you work hard to keep the lights on. At Emprise Bank, we do too. We understand the challenges that growing companies face because Emprise is built for business. Whether you need to borrow capital, finance real estate, or get advice to reach your goals, our commercial bankers are here with flexible financing solutions to make banking easy and to help you switch from your current bank seamlessly. This is the power of possible. Visit emprisebank.com to learn more.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
Brian recently had us tow his all-wheel drive Mercedes from another shop. He was told it needed a new transmission for over $4,000. As it turned out, the reason he had no forward was because his front CV axle was bad. We replaced the axle for a few $100 and he was back on the road.
Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Tickets for Less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Halftime brought to you by Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off 680 and 48th Street. Next to Cubby's, it's Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
I see the Kansas City Chiefs have to bail out the Kansas City Royals tonight down at the K.
Uh-oh.
So, what? You know, the Oakland A's have won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Now they're still on pace to lose 120.
And the Tigers suck again, too.
Yeah, they haven't won a game in the month of June. But hey, Arizona, which Royal fans, listen up. 2 years ago, they lost 110 games, and the D-backs are 40-25, and they have 6 guys who have hit home runs that are under the age of 25.
Mm-hmm.
I bring this up because why don't people make fun of the Royals like we do the A's? Do you realize there is not much? One team is 17-50. The Royals are 18-47 and just got swept on the road against Miami and a really fun to watch team, Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's making fun of the Royals, or are we just like, oh,
they just ignore them?
So they're fundamentally the Royals, and I am really surprised. I thought the Royals would be like, what did I predict? 70. I was like in the name.
About 72.
71, 72 games.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought the Royals would do. They're a long way away from that. Fundamentally, they are awful. They cannot run the bases to save themselves, and they can get no momentum. Like yesterday, they were up 1-0, and before you know it, they go to the top of the second, and it's already 3-1. And I look at, like, Baltimore is way ahead of their rebuild.
Yeah.
The Royals are 6 years in. There's not much of a gap
They
right now.
regressed.
There's not much of a gap this year between the A's and the Royals. Do people make fun of the Royals?
I think to an extent, but you're right that more will pick apart the A's. But I'd ask you this, and I don't know exactly what the Royals draw on an average basis, but usually their weekends, if there's a decent opponent in town, are okay.
Yeah, they're playing the Rockies. They get 19,000.
Yeah, they're
playing the Angels this weekend. If Ohtani pitches, maybe they get 25.
Right.
Yeah.
I honestly think the interest in the attendance has something to do with it, where it's just all bad with Oakland.
So tonight, they are home. Now, it's kind of interesting. A team that is supposed in rebuild mode in the Cincinnati Reds are their opponent. Whenever I think about the Reds playing at the Royals, I always think of Tom Brenneman. Got a long fly ball to left field. That's where it happened, was in Kansas City.
Wasn't that long ago.
So the Reds, which just had a really good week, and they're 4 games up on the Cardinals, and you're going, whoa, what's going on here? They're 4-2 with Ellie De La Cruz, who saw play at Warner Park.
Yep.
He's legit.
Mhm.
And he might be the fastest man in baseball. He threw a ball across the infield yesterday at almost 100 miles an hour. We've seen what he's done with the bat, and all of a sudden the Reds are fun to watch. So tonight, the Reds come in town. Would you rather have Ellie De La Cruz or Bobby Witt Jr.? Because Bobby Witt Jr. has struggled a little bit this year. I don't know why they continue to hit him cleanup, but he has not had the kind of year that he had last year. So with that said, they're having Chiefs night tonight. So they're trying to increase the attendance, and they convinced Andy Reid, Mahomes, and Kelsey to come to the game tonight to be involved in the opening pitch.
Oh, it's going to be part of it.
Hopefully to draw like 5,000 to 6,000 extra people to a Monday night Reds-Royals game on June 12th.
Is there any type of Chiefs giveaway as well? Do you get a bobblehead? Do you get like a
at
cool,
this point?
a
I'm
cool
surprised they
schedule
don't give you
poster?
Patrick Mahomes
I
for
don't
an
think
evening.
so. I think they probably do some Chiefs-related stuff, but no giveaway. But they have the
national anthem would be
biggest,
obnoxious.
the 3 biggest stars of the Chiefs are going to be there.
Oh, it'll get some people there.
But the
Absolutely will.
Chiefs have to save the Royals.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
See, so that alone right there, that's a jumping off point to make fun of the Royals more or as much as the A's. I'm with you on that though, because the Royals were you were supposed to see signs of their rebuild, and it hasn't happened. The A's, you just knew were going to be garbage. I think a lot of the reason the A's get the majority of the ribbing because of not only how bad they are, but also nobody goes to games. And honestly, it's probably a little bit more unfair. You should probably be a little more critical of the Royals than you are with the A's right now.
One team's 18-47, the other's 17-50. We make fun of the
Epically
17
bad.
and 50 team. The 18-47 team is below even little expectations, well below. I mean, they're a bad baseball team.
It reminds me about 20 years ago.
That
I was in college. They were a 100-loss team every year, except for 03.
You're right. No, you're right. There should be more on the Royals, especially with this last month or so, than what you're getting on the A's.
So Ryan Lefevre once told me, he said, and this was leading up to the great run in 14-15 before the Royals had success. And he said, yeah, when you get to August 1 as a baseball broadcaster and your team has no chance, he goes, that is the toughest stretch. You got 2 months to go. It's the dog days. People are going back to school. They don't care. You have no shot. It's like depressing. I wonder if I asked Ryan now, he would go, it's going to be July 1.
Yeah. I mean, think about those two organizations, but especially the Royals too.
Think of tonight. They'll have this high because the Chiefs are there, so you're thinking ahead to fall,
Then
and
you gotta
then
watch the baseball game.
then
You got to watch the
life
product.
goes on.
No, I watch a lot of the Royals, and I just can't believe how fundamentally bad they are. Just yesterday, the last 2 days, running the bases, stealing. Like when you are behind or in situations where you can't afford to get thrown out, they're stealing. Or Bobby Witt Jr. getting picked off of third base against Colorado last Saturday. I don't know. They're fundamentally really bad. This is a really, really bad baseball team. Good baseball coming to Omaha in the College World Series. We got an update with Jimmy.
The Storm Chasers were rained out yesterday, but in Indianapolis. But don't let that deceive you. The road trip was a success. They sweep the series. They take 5 straight. They come back home to open a series with Columbus tomorrow. The Nebraska women's track and field team finished in 8th place at the NCAA Outdoor Championships in Austin over the weekend with 25 points and a top 10 finish. The Husker women had their best performance at the NCAA meet since tying for 4th back in 2006. The 25 team points came from 2 individual national champions, Axelina Johansson in the shot put and Rima Odobor in the javelin, and a 4th place finish from Maddie Harris in the javelin. In baseball, it's not all bad. If you're in Tampa Bay, it's quite good. Shane McClanahan's making a serious case to be the American League starter again in next month's All-Star game, which will be in Seattle this year. If you didn't know, he became the first 10-game winner in the major leagues, and the Tampa Bay Rays defeated the Rangers 7-3, taking 2 of 3 in a matchup of the teams with the best records in baseball. McClanahan's now 10-1. He allowed 3 runs, all in the third inning and 4 hits over 7 innings. 26-year-old left-hander retired his final 15 batters. He won a career-best 12 games in 28 last season. The Rays are now 48-20. And Nick, your Guardians blanked the Astros 5-0.
How about that?
Yeah.
Hey, your Cy Young guy, Bieber looked
Biebs
great.
was okay last night. They're still, still clawing their way into that really awful AL Central.
As we update our teams in this room, the Giants beat the Cubs 13-3. So
Hey, but we won 2 of 3. And Marcus Stroman might not get an extension. Great. Hey, hey, August 1 can't get here soon enough. When does camp open?
Red hot Cincinnati Reds 31-35 after they beat the Cardinals 4-3. The Cardinals now 27-39. And yes, the A's, the red hot A's, they're back 17-50, but they beat the Brewers 8-6. The Crew falls to 34-32. Pirates, by the way, beat the Mets 2-1. Pittsburgh's now 34-30 as they try to scratch and claw their way back.
Hey, can I mention a really cool guy? So in my previous baseball life, there's not only Twins guys that I've got to know and stay in contact with, and it was kind of ironic yesterday watching Aaron Hicks and Kyle Gibson playing for the Orioles, because those were 2 guys that I got to know even more because they were playing in Fort Myers. So I saw them when they first started their career. Another guy, because the Twins and the Pirates would play a lot because Bradenton, not very far from Fort Myers, Andrew McCutchen would do stuff that you wouldn't see on the field, like with fans or how he went about his business.
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge, and I still am, an Andrew McCutchen fan. Like, he is one of the great people in the game of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
He'll always have the viral moment. Remember when, and this was peak Kutch, when he was with the Pirates, about a 4-year stretch. Now, he's not a Hall of Famer, but still, there's only top 1% even get 2,000 hits in their career.
Yeah.
And he got that yesterday. Remember when he was playing left field for the Pirates in his first stint in Pittsburgh? Remember there were 2 young boys that their dad had brought them to a ball game, and they were sitting out in the bleachers in left field. And it was at the end of the game, and McCutchen turned around and he gave him his batting gloves.
Yeah.
And the reaction of the kids is like one of the coolest moments. And I'm like, man, the Andrew McCutchen that I've seen from afar, that is who that guy is. That's so cool that he got 2,000 hits yesterday. Because there's, I think it's 294 guys have in the history of baseball have gotten 2,000 hits. I mean, that's got to be the top 1%. So he's not a Hall of Famer, but that's a hell of an accomplishment. And I wish injuries wouldn't have derailed him, because he was on the path to being a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer in the terms of being a great dude. But in terms of going to Cooperstown, probably not going to happen. But that's a cool accomplishment back in Pittsburgh.
It gave a fan like his shoes too. It was probably shortly after that moment that went viral with the batting gloves too. But I remember just kind of becoming a fan of, like you just kind of mentioned, more of like the person, good player, but the person too. Like, you just like the athletes like that when they kind of go out of their way to embrace themselves, the fans, especially in a sport where you need more of that to continue to bring in the fans and have more of that engagement. Like, yeah, he was one of the top dudes there.
Pete Kutch, he was one of the best in baseball in that stretch of the
Absolute
Buccos.
Yeah, it goes by really fast. Stanley Cup Finals shipped back to Las Vegas for Game 5 tomorrow night. The Knights are up 3-1 after winning Game 4 Saturday night in South Florida. They look to close out the Panthers on home ice. And finally, you heard us reference this earlier. It's worth putting in here because you just don't hear this often. The man who plays the Miami Heat mascot, Bernie, had to go to the emergency room Friday night after twice getting punched by Conor McGregor during an on-court bit during Game 4 of the finals, as he was promoting his pain spray or whatever.
Thought he was promoting his whiskey.
Conor, not Bernie. Bernie's going to need the whiskey and probably still will. The man who plays Bernie, according to The Athletic, received pain medication, was sent home, and is doing well. They did not take the thing off him, but his handlers did drag him off, which was kind of funny in itself. Eric Spoelstra.
My NBA season come to.
Eric Spoelstra was asked about it yesterday. Here, NBA Finals. And
you're on the brink of elimination.
And they asked him about a damn mascot. And of course, all class, he goes, we won't reveal who that is. But yeah, he can take a punch and get back up. He told reporters on Sunday about the man who portrays the mascot. He's not going to miss any time. So if there's a Game 6, Bernie's good to go. Tyler Hero, probably not. As part of the skit, Bernie, who was dressed in a fighter's robe and large gloves, they were large, moved towards McGregor at midcourt in a fighting stance. McGregor, who was promoting, pain relief spray, floored Bernie with a left hook, then landed a straight punch to the face of the mascot's headgear as he was lying up, face up on the floor.
That left hook can't be as solid as it once was, though. So come on, Bernie. You're fine.
Like Axel Foley punching out the mascot in
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, one thing that dawned on me
At Wonderworld?
at Wonderworld?
Yeah.
No.
It was Wonderworld, right?
Yeah, it was Wonderworld.
I don't know why it hasn't dawned on me before. You know, Eric Spoelstra doesn't call timeouts. He just walks on the floor.
Yeah. I've noticed that the entire playoff.
I was getting upset Friday night at the way they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Spoelstra doesn't call a timeout. He just walks on the floor. Watch him tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
doesn't turn to the ref and signal a timeout. He just walks on the floor. And then
they just know.
That is the Spoelstra signal to call a timeout.
Hands in his hips
that's
afterwards.
when you know you are
badass.
Exactly. Like you've arrived in the coaching fraternity when you don't even have to mutter it. You don't even have to say, yeah, time or signal it. You just walk out.
He storms almost.
Spo needs a timeout. Yeah. That's
baller.
Watch
it tonight. I've caught that too.
That's boss, man. That's baller stuff right there.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Take a quick break. We'll come back a little bit later. Amy just in the hour. Will Bolt probably will have his announcement here today on making it official of Rob Childress and Mike Sirianni joining his staff. One you know, the other you better get to know quickly because he is almost as important to the success of Nebraska baseball. We'll get into that much more a little bit later. Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi as well on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, baseball is back, and we got a lot of it going on this weekend for another exciting summer. And Templeton Rye Whiskey is bringing a few of their all-stars of their own with an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and the all-new 10-year reserve. Templeton Rye is the perfect way to celebrate your home team. New look, same bold taste. Templeton Rye is, again, for the strong-spirited. With Templeton Rye craft whiskeys, a strong community spirit. Templeton Rye American whiskey available with that new lineup. Also best enjoyed on its own in your favorite cocktail. But if you're making cocktails, getting ready for all the baseball festivities, Templeton Rye can be enjoyed in many of your favorites, like a Templeton Old Fashioned, Manhattan, or Templeton Sour, or the Iowa Mule. Go to TempletonDistillery.com and find more great recipes. And you can even visit the Templeton Distillery in Templeton, Iowa, just a short drive outside of Omaha, and it's open most days of the week. Visit the new Templeton Distillery and learn the history of local legacy and what goes into distillery exclusive releases. Templeton Distillery on site or just a short drive outside of Omaha. Enjoy responsibly. Templeton Rye Spirits, Templeton, Iowa. Rye Whiskey.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
We have NIL, we have transfer portal, we have conference realignment. Do we need like a new scandal?
Man, I just love the games. I just like games. Well, it's people don't like the NBA because it's all drama. They don't like the games. People love all the drama. That's what college football turns into for 9 months.
Well, have you seen the non-conference schedule? It sucks.
Man, it is pretty bad.
It sucks.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Fantastic weather on the way for Monday. After a cool start, expect to warm up quickly with mostly sunny skies. Winds remain light through the afternoon with highs in the upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center, we have one accident to report eastbound along Dodge between 204th and 192nd, so please be cautious if you're in that area. We're also getting reports of traffic signals flashing red along North 78th Street at Military Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area as well. And along L Street, be prepared for a little bit of a slowdown near 120th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza.
Not your typical restaurant. Not your typical place. Romeo's. Not your typical restaurant. For your not your typical taste. Romeo's. Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza. Not your typical restaurant.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Smith for Ted and Wally's Ice Cream, ultra premium ice cream. Of course, you can find it in the old market and in Benson as well, right next to Taste of New Orleans. One of the great things about Ted and Wally's is they work with local artisans. We're talking producers, farmers, and chefs to make sure they make the best ice cream for you. Over 3,000 unique flavors over 35 years. Ted and Wally's has ice cream for you. Call ahead, get yourself a half a gallon or maybe a quart so you have it at the house when you need some ice cream. And when you need ice cream, almost every single day. Swing by Ted and Wally's, whether it's in the old market, the original location, or in Benson, and grab yourself one of 3,000 flavors. And another thing about Ted and Wally's is they have keto-friendly ice cream. You're looking for an ice cream that's low fat? They have that as well. Whatever you're looking for when it comes to ice cream, they have a variety for you, including one of my favorites, just the plain old vanilla. Check out Ted and Wally's 2 locations in the old market and in Benson. And when you go, tell them Severe sent you.
If you think you're having transmission problems, you need a specialist, someone who can and will tell you exactly what's wrong. At Omaha Transmission, that's what we do. Some places just want to sell you a new transmission, but at Omaha Transmission, we make repairs that other shops can't or won't. Giving you options is what's kept us in business since 2005. We've even had people hear our ads, bring in their car, and experience the exact same scenario they heard. There is a place that will diagnose and fix your transmission. That place is Omaha Transmission.
Shifting, running smooth.
Switch to Cox Mobile and instantly save $200 on a new iPhone 14. So whether you're keeping up with your book club,
It all began in Manchester.
or sharing your latest recipe, you've got a plan that fits you based on the data you need. Switch today and instantly save $200 on a new iPhone 14 featuring the most impressive dual camera system on iPhone. The new Cox Mobile. We're different because you're different. Limited time offer for existing and new Cox Mobile lines. Prices exclude taxes and device activation. Other fees and charges are subject to change. Other terms and conditions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Get ready to experience the excitement of college baseball's championship series in Omaha with Tickets for Less. Use promo code THEZONE to get exclusive savings on tickets for this year's games at ticketsforless.com. Shop the best selection of tickets with no fees and save at ticketsforless.com.
Tell us how you feel on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Reach Gary, Nick, Connor, Josh, and John anytime on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers, J-Tech Construction, at yourexteriorexperts.com.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, so I went to the beef game the other night. I've not been to a beef game at Ralston Arena or was it First Liberty Union Arena?
Did you ever go to the ones at the Civic, though?
No.
Okay.
I did one of those
I
back
have
in
not
the
been
day.
to the Ralston Arena one, but
I've gone to arena football before.
Mhm.
I know I was a OG Iowa Barnstormer fan.
Nice.
Kurt Warner, Jim Foster was the founder of the league. Played at Vets Auditorium. They were really good.
they would always have like an annual game at the Civic between the Iowa Barnstormers and the Arizona Rattlers.
Okay.
Remember that?
It was great sport, but I went to the beef game. A couple of quick observations. One, I just got my hearing back yesterday. It is loud in there. They encourage vuvuzelas and cowbells.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound system, which is not very good.
We've
it's
experienced
hard,
that
It's
before.
hard to hear the sound system, but it is cranked up. Those people that are diehard beef fans are very passionate.
Mhm.
They wear the T-shirts, they wear the uniforms, they wear the outfits, they get into it. And it is quite a home field advantage.
Mhm.
Okay. Those people are all in on beef football. And, Tommy Armstrong is the quarterback. And I've heard people say that some nights Tommy looks really, really good. Other nights the arm isn't as strong. But in that league, running RPOs and stuff, I mean, Tommy's pretty effective. And they're a really, really good team. Like the beef are like the best team in that league. I was talking to a fan who had basically a full uniform on and was waving a cowbell next to me. So I wanted to know more. But they're like the beef are a great team. Passionate fans, bad sound system, $9 slices of pizza. Thank God the beer is cold and there's a lot of it. Food prices a little bit high. But here is the story of the night for yours truly, which my night ended up, by the way, going down on the field. I was like, hey, They're letting the fans go on the field. Let's go down on the field. So the guys I was with, we all went down on the field and, looking around at these different players and watching the people and the fans get autographs and stuff. It's kind of interesting. So at halftime, I won't give up his name because I don't know if he wants people to know that he goes to Beef games, but a local high school football coach and I are having a discussion. And half times are 25 minutes. So they have the dancers and then they have
the rump roasters.
Yeah, but they don't call them that now.
I remember when they were the beefcakes.
I can't remember what the name of them now, but they go out and dance.
Yep.
And they're, again, people that are there are super passionate about beef football and good on them because it's a great home field advantage where, you tick off the opposing team. They want to come in the stands and fight. But what if it's a current beef player? So we're standing there having this discussion. And again, the halftime goes forever. Here comes a player out of the beef locker room, and he walks over, and we're at the top of the section. You're like on the concourse area in one of the end zones. Here comes this player, and he's looking around. He doesn't have his helmet on, but he's got his pads on, and he's looking around. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's got family here. Yeah. He wants to say hello to him. Or maybe he wants to walk up and give Gary Sharp a football. Football did not come close to me. Not even a player. I was going to give the player or the football back. So the guy hops over the wall and starts walking up the stairs towards us. And I'm like,
do I know him?
Okay, this is kind of interesting. Maybe, his family's got to be there.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, he's like a couple of steps away from us. And he starts hollering at this dude who is much larger than him about his girl. And stay off his girl. Don't be disrespecting my girl. Okay. And so this dude who looks like he looks like an NFL rush-in.
Yeah.
Has these three women around him. And so he starts hollering back at this guy. This guy is in a full beef uniform, basically on the concourse at halftime, confronting this dude because he had been messing with his girlfriend during the first half. And I'm sure he checked his phone at halftime.
Yep.
So nobody is coming around. Like, I'm thinking, I'm getting my phone out. I have my phone ready that I'm going to have a viral moment of this guy in a beef uniform brawling with this dude over a girl in the stands at halftime. No one's going to believe me. So then security start coming over, and this one lady comes up to the player and is like, get back down there. Get back down there.
Yeah.
And he says some stuff that he probably shouldn't have said to this young lady.
And not get down there.
And this guy is like, get your back on the field. And this guy's like, you come with me. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be,
is this a recruiting tactic?
So the security is really not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then the player, he's like, he stops and he walks back down the stairs and he hops back on the field. And so a security guard is standing by us. I'm like, what was that? He goes, that's tame. He goes, they had a brawl in the locker room last week and the Ralston police had to come. And I said, like between teams? He goes, no, the beef. I'm like, this is awesome. How come I don't have season tickets?
No kidding.
Season tickets on sale now.
See, that would be a great season ticket promotion right there. What you just laid out. That is a wow. I want to go. And I actually
meet a player.
Most
get your ass
people
kicked.
maybe kind of get up and move around during halftime. I just want to stay in my seat during halftime.
Yeah. 25 minutes.
So, I know maybe the context of what was going on was a little fuzzy. You being sort of new to the incident,
messing with somebody's girlfriend that plays for the beef.
Do we know
yes, that would be true.
But do we know if one of those girls was like, you said the guy was with like three girls? Do you know if the girl was like maybe amongst that group and maybe she was texting like, this guy's being a total?
I don't know, because they were kind of latching on to the big dude.
Oh, okay. So it didn't seem like she would. Okay.
No, he had three women with him.
Good for him.
And I don't think one of them was the woman that he was messing with.
Okay.
That was the player's girlfriend or wife or who knows at that point.
Wow.
So that's my takeaway from my night at the beef. It's loud. It's a home field advantage. They're really good. The Billings quarterback is god-awful. He couldn't complete a forward pass in an arena game. I don't know why you're playing football, son. Just retire. Go back into banking or whatever you do there in Billings.
Wow.
It was a good,
so you could confirm the player wasn't Tommy.
It was a really good. It was a really, really good crowd.
Player
no. Yeah.
Tommy don't roll like that.
He do not. In full uniform, wanted to fight another guy in the stands at halftime.
Severe and I used to do those games on the station in the Civic Auditorium. The only really odd thing that maybe ever happened in the stands was we would have drunk fans that would try to get in on the broadcast every now and then. That was about it. Never saw
good luck
fans.
to the beat.
See, I had a drunk color guy when I did my arena game, so
well, that would actually be kind of fun.
It was fun.
So they should encourage the color analysts to drink.
Yeah. See how the fourth quarter goes.
And let the play-by-play guy just deal with it.
Yep.
It'd basically be Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce on their stream after Game 3 of the finals the other night.
You're going to get good content. I'm telling you what. May not make sense all the time.
Hey, so good luck to the Beef, man. They're really good. They just killed Billings. And Billings, Sean King, who played football at Wayne State, is like the interim head coach of Billings.
Okay.
So they're like a lot of local people that maybe went to Wayne State and played with him. But good luck. The Beef play Salina. I was told that they have split this year, and it's a heated rivalry.
Do we know if Sioux Falls is still good? Sioux Falls used to be really good.
Sioux Falls is in the league above Omaha.
Oh, okay.
So like Omaha might be like AA.
Okay.
Sioux Falls is in the AAA, and then if there's still an arena football league, that's the top.
Yeah, Sioux Falls was always the team to beat. They were good.
So if you're going to see a really good Beef team, but wear your earplugs because it's loud in there. They got to fix that sound system, man. Is that sound system at Ralston always that bad?
Oh, you remember, don't you?
But I don't remember.
Well, I guess you have your cans on. But
I didn't do many games there because I didn't get on to doing Omaha games until the tail end. I only did 1 year at Ralston.
Okay.
Now 2 years ago they opened up at against Hastings there.
Yeah.
But I guess it didn't dawn on me.
Yeah, the acoustics are terrible.
Yeah, but just as a fan, that's the first time I've gone to anything there as a fan.
Mm-hmm. Like from what I understand, like if you're on the seats that are sort of courtside, if we're just talking about the basketball part, like you can make out pretty much everything that is being said or, music. But beyond that, it's kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher. So I would hope that but I don't know how much you can change it because if you look at the setup, it's kind of a tin roof. You can only do so much with the acoustics there. It's just that way.
They play, I think, Saturday.
Back in Omaha?
Yeah, some guy goes, "Hey, you going to be there?" He goes, "I might have an extra ticket." I'm like, the
that
College World
CWS thing?
Series.
Damn it.
But text me for I want to get updates. Yes. All right. Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star is coming up next. It is not as loud when you go inside of Woodhouse Buick GMC at 119th and I. It's actually really nice and calm and soothing because they give you a nice atmosphere to find that next newer pre-owned vehicle that you can find today. 119th and I, climate-controlled indoor showroom. As we're into the month of June, they got some great offers right now, and they've got a bunch of new vehicles. So looking for that stylish SUV, that capable truck, you can find it. Or maybe you are looking for some of the fantastic deals that might include a GMC Sierra off nice price off MSRP or the Acadia. Check them out in person, and you know what? They've got something for everyone, and they've streamlined the process, whether it be in person or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. They want you to be part of the Woodhouse Auto family, and they don't want it to be a challenge. In person, 119th and I, online, WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com.
Usually, to get a skybox view of a Nebraska football game, you need to be a drone, a hawk, or a fighter jet. But sitting in an actual skybox is a lot more comfortable. So, enter the Nebraska Lottery's Lucky for Life ticket snap. Until July 10th, buy a Lucky for Life ticket and enter for a chance to win Nebraska football skybox season tickets or other great ticket prizes. Sure, fighter jets are cool, but there's no legroom.
Lucky for Life top prize odds 1 in 30 million.
Are you here for the job interview?
I just saw that ad that said, apply here for dream job.
What qualifications do you have?
What exactly would I be doing?
Well, this is a dream job. You would be daydreaming.
All day?
Start at 8 a.m. and spend the day dreaming about all the millions you could win playing Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery.
I'm good at that.
We want people with big imaginations, not just the usual yachts and exotic vacations.
Like a city built with bouncy houses or limo for dogs.
You're hired.
Mega Millions top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
This Father's Day, bring something special home from 42 Degrees for the favorite men in your life. How about a Boost EVO from our Dr. Dabber collection? Maybe a nice glass pipe starting at $9.99 or a new grinder for the low price of $11.99. How about Delta products starting at $7.99 or our premium Kratom starting at $9.99? With 9 locations, soon to be 10, the most professional, knowledgeable, and friendly staff. Why shop anywhere else? 42 Degrees. Buy your mom's house.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with autosave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
The baseball world comes to Omaha, and 1620 The Zone is running the show. All the excitement of the Men's College World Series, the insight, the fun, and the stories behind the games. Live from the Omaha Baseball Village, powered by Access Bank and Children's Hospital and Medical Center in Omaha. Also brought to you by Rib Shack Smokehouse, Air Serve of Council Bluffs, and the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Don't miss a minute of the biggest event here in the Big O on your station for the Men's College World Series. 1620 The Zone.
Businesses of Omaha, settling for a website that looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s? Then it's time to level up with JM Online. Our local team builds custom websites that solve unique business needs. We're not your typical web design company. We're your partners in online success. Ready to take your website to the next level? Go to jmonline.com and request an initial call.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
The Omaha Farmers Market is celebrating 30 years of farm fresh, locally grown produce, May 6th through October 15th. Open rain or shine in the Old Market every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and in Exarban Village every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. To keep up with what's in season, visit omahafarmersmarket.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Presented by Methodist Health System with media sponsors KETV Channel 7 and Sweet 98.5.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Chasing Amy. What? What did you say? You're chasing Amy.
See, I thought that I might keep you for my own.
Open is back. One quick thing, Jeff says the sound is way too loud during the Lancer games too.
Yeah, I think it's a
Fix that.
Ralston Arena thing.
Awesome. All right, welcome in, Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star. Good Monday morning. How are you?
I'm good. Enjoying this reprieve in this terrible summer that we've had so far.
Hey, isn't this awesome? This is like hoodie weather outside this morning.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to go on a run later.
Yes, I was going to say, this is a good day for not even a morning, but an afternoon for run that you can get in June. That doesn't happen a lot.
So what this time of the year, and I mean, you went from Nebraska to New Orleans, so you have adjusted, and now coming back. So June, July, August, when are you running? Early morning, late night?
In New Orleans, it's at like 10 p.m. Here, anywhere from like 5 in the morning to like 9.
Okay. All right. I'll be right there with you.
Sure.
Lots of great stuff. We'll, by the way, kudos on the story yesterday on a friend of mine who I've known for a long time that a lot of people have gotten to know, and it's a great journey to where he's at in the NBA and Garth Glissman. But I first want to go back earlier in the week because I'm curious on your thoughts, as there's a lot of discussion about Nebraska's Big Ten schedule, where Nebraska ranks in the Big Ten, what's going to happen with the Big Ten. If the Big Ten said to college athletics, July 1, we're expanding, we're going to add 1 or 2 teams, and let's say Nebraska was still, Amy, in the Big 12, do you think that Nebraska would be on the radar for the Big Ten to be an addition if we are talking 2023?
I still say yes, And I know that might be not the right answer, but the Big Ten looks at schools in terms of their academics. They look at them in terms of like the research that the academic side is doing, in addition to the athletic side of things. So from that standpoint, yes. I mean, they added Rutgers and Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Nebraska is, as a brand, more powerful than those.
Well, and I'd go even further in asking the question of whether it's Nebraska being scooped up for expansion for either the Big Ten or even, let's, just for argument's sake, say the SEC. But even what's your thought as far as Nebraska's national brand now? I mean, how, because we've been sort of inundated with sort of the Big Ten chatter around Nebraska with maybe not holding up their end of the bargain. But as far as a national brand, where would you kind of put it right now?
It's not as powerful as it used to be, but I don't think it's as weak as some people think it is either. Like, when I was walking around the streets of Dublin, everyone was wearing Nebraska stuff. Everywhere I go, like, someone is wearing Nebraska stuff. Like, I went to Rio with my mom in 2010, so granted this is a little dated, but we were just walking around one of the malls in Rio de Janeiro, and we saw somebody wearing a Nebraska t-shirt. Like, the brand is partially what it is because of the strong alumni base, and that's never going away.
Well, so there's and you've written about this and you talked about it, and there's a lot of thoughts on people as they looked at the schedule and how the Big Ten looks at Nebraska. Could I convince you that when Nebraska first joined the league, the Big Ten was really excited. They were going to get a team that was going to compete with the Michigans and the Ohio States, and Michigan wasn't nearly what they are now, but Nebraska was going to be a factor in the postseason, and it didn't happen outside of 2012. That if you look at now the Big Ten and their approach to everybody has a difficult schedule because of the way the conference is built, then maybe the Big Ten hit the reset button. They said, Nebraska might have got this hire right. By the time we get to that 25 season, man, those games, they're going to be as difficult because Nebraska will be competitive, and these are going to be great TV games. Could I convince you that maybe that is a way to approach the schedule for the next 2 years?
I mean, sure, that's how you want to approach it. And there's just so much that can change between now and then. Like, I don't want to predict what's going to happen this fall, let alone in 2025.
Well, Amy, we were discussing this earlier on the message from the top about that particular year, but just the schedule in general, where there's a time, and there's probably even a section of Nebraska fans that could look at the 2025 portion of the schedule and say it's the Big Ten hammering down on Nebraska. Yet at the very top, you have Trev Alberts talking about, and kind of like what Gary alluded to, is great opportunities for this football program. But more than anything, what he said, and I think is absolutely 100% true, is that at some point we got to start winning these games. Is that also part of maybe kind of changing a little bit of the Nebraska narrative when you start having that sort of viewpoint from the top of looking at it from that perspective, looking at it as good opportunities for the Nebraska football brand, and not really making the excuses or the woe is me, but saying, hey, we got to win these games?
But yeah, you have to win the game. Like, some people out there were like, oh, like, this is going to be better for Nebraska. They were, playing in the Big Ten West, and that's not good enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see what happens in 2025. I am excited to go on those road games. But as far as what's going to happen on the field, I genuinely have no idea. We're going to be on a completely different. I mean, the team's going to look. But I think with what Rule has been doing now to lay the groundwork, that it will still be competitive. You will hope.
We'll get Chatter on this. A quick question and a reaction. Um, Will Bolt, Rob Childress is sitting right there. That seems like a no-brainer hire. It's been done. But there's the other part, I think, and we know what Rob brings to the table and what he can do in developing pitchers, but I think in this time of day of attracting pitchers, especially portal guys, that's huge. But I think that the other hire of Mike Sirianni to come from Wichita State, where he spearheaded recruiting, I think is equally as big a move for Will.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to compete in all aspects. But I'm going to go back to if Nebraska can land that two-way guy of Peyton or whatever his last name is, that would be incredible. And I think that would be kind of a blending of both of the arguments.
Yep. I think it's almost a no-brainer, but adding Mike Sirianni is huge. Amy, we appreciate again. Great stuff. I enjoyed the column on Garth, and have a great week. I'm sure it will not be a slow week in Lincoln for you.
No, it never is.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. That's Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star. We'll get her back next Monday with a phone that we'll send her in the mail.
Yeah, we'll send her a burner.
A burner, yeah. We'll just ask for Jerry Nardo's phone back.
Live from the brick phone.
We need that back.
Hey, what is it with everybody from Lincoln? Like a lot of our guests from Lincoln have bad phones.
Is it the are they? I'm just going to use it because this is who I use. Is it Verizon? Is it not as good in Lincoln? I mean, you spend a lot of time there.
My T-Mobile
Just
works.
think of those big phones that the dudes on the poles would use, and just picture it like that. Like maybe a Fisher Price phone. Or
I know Lincoln had a lot of U.S. cellular.
They got telephones in Lincoln. Call them up.
Yeah, come on.
Well, Sip just needs a charger, so I don't know if his phone is bad.
Well, I think he needs a new phone because if he's already down to like 5% battery, that early in the morning,
and an iPhone 4,
that thing's draining. It's draining pretty bad.
So the promotion of Rob, and remember when Will Bolt started at Nebraska, Rob Childress was still at Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rob was, fired at Texas A&M, coming to Nebraska, Jeff Christie was only in year number 2.
Yeah.
So, and you don't want to step on people's, their territory. Let them develop.
Mm-hmm.
But now the situation, when you haven't sniffed the NCAA tournament, you got Rob Childress right there. You're wondering, what's his future? Doesn't get a head coaching job. That's a no-brainer. Move him up as pitching coach. Also kind of washes your hands a little bit because Rob is held in such high acclaim that the pitching is now on Rob Childress. It is all on Rob Childress. And Rob knows that to get this fixed and develop a staff of arms that can throw strikes, because in college baseball, when you get towards the back end, guys can't throw strikes. It's terrible baseball, i.e. Oregon Oral Roberts watching that game last night. So Rob's a developer. Look what he did at Texas A&M towards the tail end with his pitching staff. He also is an attractor. Nebraska's generating a lot of interest in the portal. They haven't played the portal game very often, but now they got to play it. And now they got a pitching coach who is well known, that is attractive of, hey, I can go there. You can develop me. I can get to where I want to go. So that's twofold. But I'm telling you, the addition of Mike Sirianni to this staff, who began his college career at Creighton, he's coached at Iowa Western. I know him a little bit. He's an absolute grinder who went to Wichita State with whoever knows what his title was. At one time, he was a volunteer guy, but he was important in recruiting. That at Wichita State, even with all of the trouble that Wichita State baseball has had, he compiled top 32 recruiting classes. He gets after it. And don't kid yourself, when Rob Childress all of a sudden starts following people on Twitter that are leaving Wichita State, and there's 31 that are in the portal, including a great two-way player, that you hire a guy from Wichita State to join the staff. Now, what will his role be? That's the thing. We know that he'll be involved in recruiting. Lance Harville is already involved in recruiting. How will they incorporate Mike Sirianni? Because the third assistant can be hired July 1. Danny Marcuzzo, I know there'd been a lot of discussion of he would be promoted. What does this do to their staff? But the Mike Sirianni hire for Nebraska baseball is as important to me as Rob Childress being elevated to pitching coach, because they got to upgrade the talent. They do not have the depth of talent that you saw with Maryland and Iowa and even Indiana, i.e. the 3 NCAA teams out of the Big Ten.
And the thing I would say about all those teams that you just mentioned is, with the exception of maybe a couple of guys, whether it was on the pitching staff or whether you had a guy in your lineup, a lot of that were core group guys. A lot of that were, Max Anderson, Bryce Matthew type guys that were in their third year or for even fourth year of college baseball at the same location, whether it was at Indiana or Iowa or at Maryland. So it does start with being able to get those very successful high school recruiting classes. And then this is where I get excited about Rob Childress being there too, because I don't know exactly what he and Jeff Christie, as far as their work together entailed, especially during the offseason. But when it comes to development, and I know it. I mean, if you're going to go out and get a pitching coach, whether Rob Childress was here on staff or he was elsewhere, you're not going to find many better when it comes to those aspects of not just teaching and developing, but also being that very attractive figure when it comes to young arms that already look at the Rob Childress resume and say, this guy can develop me and get me into the next level. To be able to have a guy that you're now going to, and this is no knock on Jeff Christie. Jeff Christie just did not have that resume. If you were a big-time pitcher, you didn't really know what to expect out of Jeff Christie as much as you do Rob Childress. That's just the facts of it. And so there's that part of it. And getting back to the Sirianni part, this is where I want to say, yeah, you're going to have to play the transfer portal game. That's just the way it is in every sport. But it also goes back to what we talked about in college basketball, and it is especially important in college baseball, is being able to get those solid recruiting classes out of high school and being able to keep them together, being able to stay old, get old and stay old, retention, and finding those core groups other than just maybe 3 or 4 guys that are still around from the original time that they got on campus. It's a big part of the success, especially in the Big Ten. So there's a lot of boxes there that I think are being checked here with Will Bolt on what he's trying to now transform this roster, if you will. They're still going to play the transfer game, and they did that last year. But this year, I feel like there's going to be a little bit more understanding to the needs and getting maybe some of those even transfers maybe at a younger part of their career.
They got a transfer from Omaha. Rand Sanders, who became the closer for Omaha, left Omaha, announced yesterday he's transferring to Nebraska. Peyton Toole is the player's name for Wichita State, two-way player, 300 hitter, but even better on the mound. So keep an eye on him. I'm sure that he will be a popular person in the portal, but you are competing in the portal NIL dollars.
Yep.
And you're competing against the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12. That's not easy to get guys like that.
Nope.
1890 had a really, really good weekend, folks. They had a really, really good weekend surrounding Nebraska athletics.
They had that shindig you talked about.
I don't know if that pertains to baseball, but they had a really, really good weekend. But if you want to lure somebody like that, you've got to have the NIL money because, as Kendall Rogers said the other day on the show, the SEC ain't messing around. The SEC might hear, hey, we want that guy that's considering a Big Ten school. What are they offering?
Right.
We got that in your locker. Okay.
Some exotic chicken tenders, too.
Next hour, we'll talk a little hoops with Jacob Bigelow and Joel Lorenzi. Chris writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. So does nobody have a landline anymore?
My parents do.
Think so.
My parents have one.
Nobody works in an office anymore? Chris, a lot of people in the newspaper industry are remote work from home. Not everybody is Steve Sipple that would go into the office at Lincoln Journal. And they got a nice office. They moved.
Yeah.
They had to move from downtown, and they're not very far from downtown. But they got a really nice office. I don't know if Amy is probably mobile.
She was there.
Yeah.
Sound like it.
Wyoming or something.
Apparently now all sports journalists who work freelance and make the decision to do a radio show call-ins while they're out running errands.
Yeah. She was roaming.
Brian Christopherson goes in his garage in his car. Does not turn it on.
That's right.
When he's on with us. Yeah. Sam seems to run errands while he's
sometimes
he's taking kids to school.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll hear the door opening. Yeah. You can hear the notification for that.
Sipple is just being Sipple.
No seatbelt.
I just remember when he said, I got to get out of this situation. So give me a second.
So Chris,
what situation?
Chris is lashing out at our guests. If you know you're going to be calling into a show, get a damn landline.
I mean,
I can't.
Shouldn't he email her and not us?
I mean, you need to have a landline. I mean, if you had one, great.
We're not her go-between.
Can't recall the last time I talked to anybody on a landline.
Remember Brad Edwards, the old ESPN college football BCS guru? Used to talk to him a lot, and he would always make sure our producer had his landline number because he
as a backup.
No, he said call me on my landline because it'll sound better.
Lee Sterling.
And I always appreciated that.
I call Lee Sterling on his landline.
Lee will give you a landline as well,
which sounds magnificent. Miami.
Well, Lee wants to make sure you know what his game of the week is going to be too. You don't want any distortion with that.
I used to have a guest way back in the day that was an internet phone person.
Ooh.
So they basically talked to their computer while they were on the air with us. It actually wasn't a bad connection.
Yeah.
But we said, "Hey, what are you calling us?" "Oh, I'm on the internet phone." And I'm like,
Skype?
We play a game? I said, "Nanu." It's mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone.
Hey, DJ's Dugout wants to say welcome to Omaha to all of the baseball fans, and we're talking college baseball fans, Little League baseball fans, getting ready for all of those big tournaments. And June is a fun and exciting month in Omaha. And they welcome again all the college baseball fans and accommodating all teams in large groups. Omaha is known for getting a good burger. Well, DJ's Dugout, fresh, never frozen half-pound Angus beef burgers are absolutely delicious. So check out DJ's Dugout while you're taking in all of the baseball action here in the next couple of weeks while you're in Omaha. DJ's is locally and Vietnam veteran-owned. Dig in at the Dugout.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backwin Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center, we have one accident to report eastbound along Dodge between 204th and 192nd, so please be cautious if you're in that area. We're also getting reports of traffic signals flashing red along North 78th Street at Military Avenue, so please be cautious if you're in that area as well. And along L Street, be prepared for a little bit of a slowdown near 120th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
You could win a trip to Nashville's iconic Ryman Auditorium for a private concert by Luke Combs and a chance at $500,000. Just enter non-winning Nebraska Lottery Luke Combs scratch tickets before August 1st. Scratch ticket top prize odds, 1 in 128,000.
Everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. Beautiful spring weather has arrived, which means summer is right around the corner. This is the perfect time for you to take advantage of the great deals that they have at Kugler Vision. Why do glasses and contact wearers from all over Nebraska travel to see the folks at Kugler Vision? Because they tackle tough vision problems. Schedule a consultation today, 402-558-2211 or KuglerVision.com.
As long as I can remember, new Chevys could always be found at the corner of 112th and Dodge. And now that location is Woodhouse Chevy Omaha, a familiar sight to find new roads to your new Chevy Silverado. Save up to $6,000 off MSRP on the 2023 Silverado 1500. I've seen the huge selection, all with the features, styles, and colors you're looking for. Now you can too. Woodhouse Chevy, exit 75, I-29, Missouri Valley, and now 112th and Dodge in Omaha, or visit woodhouse.com. With approved credit, see dealer for details. Expire 6/30/23.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Their annual 4-person 4th of July scramble is coming up at 8:30 a.m. on Independence Day. How do you get signed up? Well, you go to their website, miraclehillgolf.com/store. You got to get signed up for this one fast, because the spots will go by soon. And give them a call at 402-498-0220 to book your tee times today. They're located just north of Dodge on 120th Street. Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Fun fact, did you know gorillas burp when they're happy? Really? I'm glad humans don't have that issue, as it would create some awkward moments. Dave and Ryan Osted here with Osted's Golf. Looking for your happiness on the course? Book your fitting appointment today with Osted's, the nation's top 100 fitter from Callaway, Ping, Mizuno, and Golf Digest. Why get fit? On average, golfers gain 19 yards off the tee and drop their handicap by 10%. Wow, results like that will make any golfer happy. Stop in today or book your appointment on Osteds.com. All burps will be taken as a compliment.
We're live at Funplex in Omaha asking some experts what the best part of summer here is at the park. So, what do you guys think?
Motion Ocean, the slides, the lazy river, splash, double trouble.
Whoa, one at a time. Whoa!
We got this. Riding the waves of the motion ocean. Next, double trouble. A trapdoor drops, and suddenly you're rocketing down a slide feet first. Yeah, but what about music and lights inside Rockin' Rapids?
Okay. I guess the experts have spoken. This summer, let the fun drop at Funplex. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Celebrate the college baseball championship with Templeton Rye. Whiskey for the strong-spirited with an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve. Templeton Rye is crafted with a strong community spirit, the perfect way to celebrate your favorite team. Templeton Rye, whiskey for the strong-spirited. Available near you.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, so it begins College World Series week. The shot board is up. Little Uncle Gary pro tip. Gate 4 is your friend if you're trying to get into the stadium. If you are riding on one of the motorized scooters, don't run into a police officer or its horse. Drink responsibly. Gamble responsibly. Remember, don't the funky cigarettes. You can't do that around here. Be on the lookout for it.
And they're not pea punks.
The hippie lettuce.
Sticky, icky. Ooh, wee.
All right, let's welcome in Jacob Bigelow, who joins us now from Huskers Illustrated, from his apartment, from a lot of other things he does. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys on this fallish feeling Monday?
Did you just get up?
No.
Okay.
But he sounds great.
Very clear
I was
signal.
gonna say, how does my can you hear me? Is my phone signal working?
You might have like 8 bars. If I didn't know any better, you might be in 5G, buddy.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. That's good. Good to hear that.
All right, who will be because you're a big college baseball fan. Well, you're a sports fan in general. Who will you be adopting as your favorite that is not wearing purple and gold?
That is not wearing purple and gold. That's a good question. I mean, it's tough to pick against. Florida, man. I really like the makeup of their team. Their stuff. Wake Forest also. I mean, it's I know what I forget what the exact year is. Since the last time the number 1 overall seed won it, but I mean, Wake Forest, those 2 games against Alabama. I mean, you like the long ball. They're the team to watch. So I'll probably lean toward Wake Forest, but Florida's close behind.
No, those are all the wrong answers because you know as well as I do watching this event. Is Oral Roberts enough just with their, I guess, the familiarity that some local fans have with them being in the Summit League? Do you think that they will have that same type of charm as the previous 4-seed Stony Brook in 2012?
They could. I think it'll be, in terms of who becomes like the adopted local team. I'll have a tough time believing it won't be one of the 2 purple teams between LSU and TCU. I feel like those will be the 2 teams that the locals choose more than the rest of the field. And Oral Roberts will get some support. I think they'll get some support just because everyone loves an underdog, and I think they'll have people that are just casual fans going to games, rooting for them, and they'll have some support behind them.
Yeah, Jonah Cox, who's got a 47-game hitting streak. 47-game hitting streak. I mean, Robin Ventura. But let's see, would he be able to get to 56? No, I don't think he'd have enough games.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of games to play.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of elimination.
That'd be eliminated, yeah.
A lot of elimination games. Do you have a pro tip? I was telling people to go Gate 4 is your friend at the College World Series. Do you have a pro tip as a visitor to the College World Series, whether it be tailgating, parking, tickets, how to get to the stadium that you'd like to share?
No, I mean, you covered all the pro tips, really. The Gate 4 tip has kind of been my go-to the last couple years, telling people that are coming to visit. So kind of took that one from me. But yeah, I don't have any other ones off the top of my head. I'm kind of no. You covered all the bases for the most part.
So I know that we're excited because, look, it's college baseball. You could throw 8 teams at us, and I think we're going to be able to find storylines for all 8 and be just fine with it, whether it's national powers or if you're, the underdog. But looking at the way that this thing is starting to shake out, even with the 2 games that remain today, is this arguably one of the better fields, from like every fan angle, whether you're looking for the underdog or you're looking for really good baseball, teams that have been dominant to, even having sort of that local favorite that LSU has been for so long. Like, is this, in your opinion, maybe one of the better fields that we're about to see?
I definitely think it's up there. I think it's got the makings to be a pretty fun series, and that's kind of I wouldn't say regardless of how the 2 games go today, but I mean we're going to have a little bit of everything for sure, and I think there's a good crop of teams that'll actually bring fans, which is another big plus. And then the more people that can come up, travel, and bring some money to stimulate the local economy, we'll welcome you. So I think and then regardless of how the 2 games go today, I think it'll be a pretty good field with a little bit of everything, like you said, storylines and teams that will all have their own cases for how they can make a deep run.
Hey, and let's shift a little basketball. Let's talk Nebraska basketball and guys that are on the radar. In Lincoln, they have Who Hot Mongolian Grill. In San Francisco, they have a very strong Mongolian population. And so Mongolian Mike, who is transferring from Dayton, goes to USF and kind of, I think once he made his only visit to San Francisco, that was going to happen. Because I just reading the young man, and he's an impressive person, but the comfortability was a big selling point to San Francisco. So he is no longer on Nebraska's radar. Why hasn't, or why isn't Simeon Wilcher, who is CJ's younger brother, who has had some contact with Nebraska in the past, why is he nowhere near Nebraska's radar?
That's a good question. It may be a case of maybe Simeon wants to stay closer to home. Maybe he wants to, he doesn't want to, follow the blueprint we've seen in Lincoln of this guy's just here because of his brother. He wants to maybe, go his own way, stay close to home, and have his own path. It is interesting that we haven't even heard of any contact, any reach out at all, considering not just CJ being on the roster, but also Jamarcus Lawrence, who was, they won a state championship together at Roselle Catholic. And they're all, there's plenty of connections in Lincoln for Simeon. There were, I saw both the McGowan brothers post something on their Instagrams of stories of Simeon decommitting from North Carolina. I'm like, okay, this could mean something, but it turned looking like it didn't mean anything at all. And we haven't heard of any contact whatsoever between Nebraska and him. And it's tough to say why, because they have 2 open scholarships.
Yeah,
I expected them to at least fill one of those 2 before the summer session really got going.
And maybe you don't know this 100%, but just curious on maybe which way you lean. Do you think this is more on the Simeon Wilcher side of it, or the Nebraska coaching staff and what they are, kind of gauging any type of feel for Simeon Wilcher if he wants to come to Nebraska?
Might be. I'd lean a little bit of both, and I would say that Nebraska's staff, while they have the 2 open scholarships, I don't think they're just gonna throw one at whoever or at the the best player available just because he has X amount of stars on a recruiting service, and they want to make sure it's a fit for the culture they're trying to build, the schematics that they want to use for their the way they're going to play next year. And there's a lot of things that are going to go into it. Yes, Simeon may be very highly regarded. He may be a highly rated recruit, but does he fit into Nebraska's game plan for next year? That's the question. So there's a lot of factors at play, but it is still puzzling.
Hey, so let's stick on that last point. I think that's a really, really good point because you know how big culture is. The first couple of years, culture was like, culture wasn't just in the locker room. It was guys doing the right thing of not paying rent at their apartment. And all of a sudden, coaches got to bail them out. Just like little stuff like that. But the culture in the locker room really turned the corner in the offseason when Sam Greasel showed up and he combined with Derek Walker. What you just said, and they like their culture with the particular guys they've added that are kind of handpicked and not just throw a net out there and let's just accumulate talent and work them in. I think that's a great point. That, not saying that Simeon's a bad guy, but the guys that they have here now, they really, really like. That is a good core that they want to carry through the summer, take them to Spain, and let them loose in the fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And
also there's also the minute distribution part that some guys who think they're getting minutes and they've kind of told them that would have to go, well, that guy's going to take my bouncing of the basketball and my minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good amount of mouths to feed in the backcourt in terms of minutes and how they're going to distribute them amongst a good crop of guards that they've got already. And then Simeon, I mean, he also goes kind of against the roster maker just in terms of how old he is. The roster's a bunch of older guys. Whether it's the guys from the portal or the guys who are returning, with a couple younger guys. I know they brought in Rice and Lloyd off the red shirt, and Jamarcus played last year, but for the most part, it's a bunch of experienced guys who have been through, who, as Armando Bakeout would say, who have been through the grind, the grind. And, they know what it's like to be playing high major basketball. So there's a lot of factors at work, but, it is puzzling to me that they haven't even reached out, but when you think about it, it's not too crazy.
All right, so to continue the culture part of it too, and talking about older brother CJ, even with what we assume is going to be very little role as far as minutes, is CJ the way that he's kind of stuck around is never really seemed to, at least publicly, pout. We've always seen him good spirits on the bench at the end of last year where his role was always varying. The fact that he never went into the transfer portal, like, is that a guy that we would consider to be sort of that culture? Or maybe, he's someone that is going to be, that might be his role, is to kind of, keep the locker room in check, so to speak.
It could be, because, I mean, now with, Walker graduating, he's the guy who's been around the longest. He's the longest, the guy who's seen the most in the Hoiberg era and Lincoln on the roster. He's seen the good culture, the bad, the attempt at turning it around last year. He's seen it all, and he can still be, a culture piece in that sort of way. Because he's seen it, he's been through it, and he's stuck around. So, I'd say just based on tenure and experience, he that can be valuable, in a leadership culture role off the court for him.
All right. My little general manager that is Jacob Bigelow, you and I had a discussion last summer about putting together a Nebraska TBT team. We think that Creighton's team is still together, but I'm telling you, the Omaha alum are compiling a team. So I got Tradeon Hollins that is blowing me up, wanting to know, hey, what can I do? We need to get this team going. So he goes out and he's got CJ Carter. He's got Mitch Hahn committed. Tradeon is playing. Marcus Tyus is playing. Marlon Ruffin, who played a couple years here and then left and went to 4 other schools before his career ended, he's playing. I think that Trayshawn Thurman is going to play for them. You and I talked about putting together a Nebraska team, and I think you and Doc Sadler were going to be coach and GM. Are we having any movement on a TBT team for Nebraska?
Right now, I can't exactly say that there is movement, but I will say there were discussions throughout the last year to as recently as within the last couple months. There were discussions about how to make it all happen. Some of the logistics and financial things that go into putting the team together, we ran into a couple roadblocks, but there was discussions. There was plenty of interest from the Miles era guys that I
Petaway.
We couldn't get him on the hook, but the guys that I was a manager with seemed to be very interested. Yeah, they had talked about it before. We just ran into some logistical hiccups along the way, so there are still some irons in the fire to get it going eventually, but I don't think it'll be a thing this summer.
See, and so if you had a group, especially the guys that you were around, that would be maybe most likely. That's not saying, hey, I've talked to these guys and they want to do it, but the guys that would be most likely to be part of the basketball tournament, like, or just your overall dream team from that group. Like who would you give me like 3 names?
Watson, Copeland, Evan Taylor.
Okay.
We had to kind of get all those guys to talk to Palmer about it. He seemed to be interested, but the guys that I was with and still talk to quite a bit, they seem to be into it. Talked to Roby obviously couldn't play if we put the team together, but he said those guys wanted. He could, and he said those guys have wanted to do something like that ever since we all left Lincoln. So there's interest in making it happen in the future. We just gotta be better with the logistics of the operation.
Hey, I'm finding out it's expensive to put a team in. You need like a big backer to write a big check.
Yeah, no, you do. And we had some initial conversations with some people, but it never got past the initial stage. But yeah, it is. You do need a big backer. The logistics of getting guys all together to practice and train somewhere. To if you're sent to a regional, you got to pay for your own travel. You got to pay for your own lodging. The only time your travel or lodging is paid for is if you make the Final Four. So you got to pay for all of that along the way. It is quite the undertaking to get all the financials and everything together to get a team rolling.
All right. Well, I was looking forward to you being the little GM standing on the side of the court on your phone, have 2 phones going.
Maybe some pacing.
Oh, I'd look like Ballmer. It'd be bad, dude. I'd look like Ballmer during those games if I was on the sideline just losing my mind. I don't know if that would have ended well for me.
Hey, as long as you don't look like Justin Patton last year, you'd be good.
Nah, that's not a bad point.
Yeah.
Not a bad.
He
point,
loved himself some TBT. I'm not sure the ref liked Justin Patton as a fan watching TBT.
Yeah.
All right, have a good week. You going to make it down to the College World Series? You going to stop by, say hello? You going to be at a tailgate?
No, that's the plan. I was planning on coming down to say hi at some point, and I'll be down and around there this weekend. So I'll hope to see you guys later this week. But have a good week of shows and a good start to the CWS.
All right, thank you, my friend.
Of course, guys. Talk to you later.
It's Jacob Bigelow.
Well, so can you give me that Omaha TBT team again? That's some dudes.
Yeah, that's their team. It is what do they call themselves? 402's finest.
Nice.
So Tradion is this started last year because a lot of these guys came to the TBT, which I haven't heard. It's going to be back in Omaha next month.
Yeah, I have not heard.
Did you go last year at all?
I did.
Okay.
To the Friday night one, yeah.
So watching the Creighton team play, I mean, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was and the Creighton team was really good. But it was just like, you like college basketball, like names would pop up and you go, whoa. And then they had the, it's not the Elite, it's the Ignite team. So Scoot Henderson played here last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to see that. I thought it was well attended. It was on ESPN, so that was pretty cool. Yep. So there were a lot of the Omaha guys, because Trayshawn was playing for the Creighton team.
Mm-hmm.
They said, let's put together an Omaha team. And so Tradion started it, and they've gotten, like some of the best of the stretch, when Division I era under DH. I think Kyler Erickson's playing as well, but Tradion and Marcus Tyus and Marlon Ruffin and Mitch Hahn and CJ Carter.
Man, guys.
Yeah, it's a team that for like that tournament is put together pretty well.
CJ Carter. He was fun to watch. That's just when you were naming those names and remembered some of the teams that they were a part of. Is obviously Tradion Hollins and the team that came just short of the NCAA tournament. But man, that'd be fun to watch that team, that group as well. But yeah, I have not heard if that is going to be making it. I would think that Omaha did a pretty dang good job of staying on the radar there, but that'd be a lot of fun if you could get those two teams here. And Nebraska, come on, figure a team out. There's got to be some interest there. But the backing, so that's interesting. You bring up the financial backing of this too, because I mean, does 1890 do anything? But I mean, I'm curious on a lot of these guys.
That's not even.
No, come on, guys.
No, that has no connection.
Yeah, I figured they probably wouldn't or couldn't. But yeah, with those, I know with Creighton and you would think with Omaha, those guys being around enough of even some of maybe the sponsors of Omaha basketball over the years might, kick in something for that. I don't know. That's just, it's not anything that I really even thought of, but I'm curious what that runs. You might know that number better than I do. I'm curious though, like what type of financial backing you would need on that. Because you need lodging and everything.
That's significant because the fee to get in. Like Creighton had somebody write a check last year.
Yeah.
And it's a significant check. So last year was not like a regional site. Like you have a knockout round and then you go to the regional sites. I think I remember correctly. But on the TBT site, it does not have anything about Omaha.
Okay.
Wichita is the closest. I think Wichita hosted a regional last year.
Yeah.
It was well attended. I mean, if you were a Creighton fan, that was pretty cool. They got Marcus Foster back now.
Remember they had the Creighton, like the Baylor Shireman autograph session before the game as well.
There were some guys that you could tell a little bit older.
Yep.
Johns Manigat was playing. It was cool to see those guys, but expecting them to go out and run for 25, 30 minutes was not doable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Omaha Mavericks have a team, 402's finest.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. Go get them, boys.
And I said to Jacob, hey, Jacob and I stood in the parking lot one night and we were figuring out who could play for Nebraska. We had like an intriguing roster. I was like, dude, you got to go get Teddy Allen. Teddy Allen and this would just put up buckets.
Mm-hmm.
Convince Andrew White to play.
Would he be loyal to Nebraska on that one? I don't know.
He loyal to money.
Yeah, he would.
All right, Joel Lorenzi will join us before the hour is over. And we close up a Monday show. 2 more slots to go in the College World Series. Southern Miss or Tennessee, Stanford or Texas to join what is already a great 6 that are headed to Omaha to begin on Friday that you can hear right here on The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com.
Hey, it's Nick Handley for Woodhouse Mazda. Take on summer adventures with the 2023 Mazda CX-50. This CUV stands out with a tough-looking exterior to the ultra-comfortable interior. It combines iActive all-wheel drive and an available turbo engine to take on any terrain. The available panoramic moonroof allows nature to collide with the comfort of your vehicle. The interior of the CX-50 was inspired by the outdoors with stitching that reflects the pattern of hiking boot laces. How's that for creativity? The rear doors open nearly a full 90 degrees to make climbing in and out of the vehicle and loading your gears simple. This is as fun of a drive as you'll find. You need to see it for yourself. Shop the 2023 Mazda CX-50 at Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue or Woodhouse Place Mazda off 144th and Giles Road, where you will always enjoy a friendly and knowledgeable sales staff. You can also shop, finance, and buy online at WoodhouseMazda.com or WoodhousePlaceMazda.com with a streamlined process to save you time. Chat with a sales team member online and easily schedule a test drive today. Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing.
Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on The Crossover.
Empire's the weakest of the original trilogy.
I know. It's a hot take. It's a hot take. I'm done. It's
2
a
years
hot
in,
take.
I'm ready to say it's time for Nick to go. I'm not saying it's the weakest Star Wars movie. Empire's a great movie.
Why is it the weakest of the original 3?
Specifically,
Connor's out of his conversation.
I know. I just took a screenshot of him and I'm tweeting it out. It's fine. I'm enjoying it.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Fantastic weather on the way for Monday. After a cool start, expect to warm up quickly with mostly sunny skies. Winds remain light through the afternoon with highs in the upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source by your mom's house.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Nick Handley here for Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong-spirited. Excitement is in the air as the College Baseball Championship returns to Omaha, and fans come from all around. Celebrate this year with Templeton Rye Whiskey for the strong-spirited. With a 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve, the whiskey is a home run all around. To learn more about Templeton Rye, check out their Instagram, Templeton Distillery, or visit the On-Site Distillery, just a short drive outside of Omaha. Enjoy responsibly. Templeton Rye Spirits, Templeton, Iowa Rye Whiskey.
Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone.
If you want to learn how to become a state champion, listen to this segment. We are blessed by champions in studio with us tonight. The Burke Boys 4x800 track team and their head coach, Steve Sadlerly, joined us in studio. Coach, thank you very much for being here and bringing these guys with you tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. It's great to be in here and highlight some OPS athletes.
Catch After Hours weekdays from 6 to 8 or as the sports schedule allows. Sponsored by Bellevue University on 1620 The Zone.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
They're doing something crazy as long as they are doing it with spirit. Brought to you by Templeton Rye Whiskey. Whiskey for the strong-spirited. You know why I play this?
It's Predator.
It is. This wonderful family film came out 36 years ago today.
Oh my God, I'm old.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Predator. 36 years old. Jesus.
Good date movie.
Time is a bitch. No?
No, it is.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Oh, boy.
That might be the quote of the show, which is saying something.
I'm sorry. It is. Good movie, though. Good movie.
Not as good as the Arnold doc.
Yes, I've heard. I need to watch that.
Yes.
Is that Netflix?
Yes.
Okay.
It is really, really good. And there's a lot of questions about Arnold and his life that are left wide open.
Really?
It's really well done. I also recommend the Bill Walton part 3 and 4, the 30 for 30, will be airing tomorrow night. So if you didn't get a chance to watch 1 and 2, really well done. It explains a lot about how Bill Walton is today. He's always been like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not an act.
They had great stuff. They had video of him and John Wooden interacting, and all of his former teammates at UCLA and also with the Portland Trail Blazers.
Mhm.
He apologized to him for letting him down because of his injuries and couldn't deliver a championship. It was really, the first 2 parts were really, really good. And 3 and 4, I think, air in the same time period tomorrow night at 7 and 8. You ain't gonna be watching the NHL because that series is over. You ain't gonna watch the NBA tonight. That series is over.
I still want to watch tonight. See what happens.
I mean, I'm going to watch because
You're
it's the
going to be
NBA.
wondering why, if the rumor is true, that Wendy's is discontinuing the chocolate frosty. Wendy's has gone all in on strawberry. If you've not noticed by the commercial.
Why? Or are they not selling enough strawberry?
No, they're all in on strawberry. Have you not seen their advertising?
Yeah, I know, but
it's all strawberry.
I feel like they're trying to promote it because those sales are down. Chocolate will always be there,
but will it?
You don't. No, come on. There's room for both. There's room for both.
They still have the vanilla frosty, right?
I don't think so.
What? They've gotten rid of the vanilla frosty? Now, this is from someone who...
I have not had a
doesn't
frosty
make
in a
the
while,
Wendy's
but I
in a while.
don't believe they have.
But for the longest time, the chocolate frosty was the only one.
Yeah,
And that was all you needed. But they've gone all in on strawberry. And Not that that's a bad thing. I'm here for strawberries. But they got rid of vanilla frosty as
I'm
well.
doing the research as we speak.
My God.
This is not good. Here's your breaking news. Wendy's has discontinued the vanilla frosty.
To make room for the strawberry?
I think so. On the menu, it lists the strawberry frosty and the classic chocolate frosty, so we're good on that. But the vanilla one is gone.
What?
It's McDonald's. McDonald's is running everybody out. The Grimace is running everybody out.
That damn Mayor McCheese.
Grimace now has a shake.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
What
Vanilla
is it?
soft serve and the berry flavors.
Oh. Grimace. That doesn't surprise me with Grimace, though. Grimace always had an agenda.
I always thought so. Oh, there. Grimace's B-Day is best B-Day. HBD, Purple Pal. Get Grimace's birthday shake exclusively with Grimace's birthday meal, including your choice, spelled U-R, Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets and fries for a limited time. Order yours for pickup or make delivery.
What was your scouting report on Grimace?
Always had an agenda. I feel like the Hamburglar always took, I think it was the fall guy for a lot of things. Grimace was
the brains?
Yeah, I think Grimace was orchestrating a lot of stuff.
Grimace was the thief. When he was known as Evil Grimace, he would run off hamburger style with all the milkshakes.
Mm-hmm.
They brought all the toys to the yard.
Do you know the original Grimace had 4 arms? And he had no charm whatsoever. So basically, it was like some of our favorite college football coaches.
Minus the forearms.
So they know this is a true story. So to make Grimace less scary to children, they turned him into this soft, plush, 2-armed blob of a sweetheart.
I got to see this old Grimace.
And then they also did this. So he basically, using the professional wrestling model, he went from a heel to a hero because they thought kids love milkshakes. We're going to pair Grimace with the milkshake, and kids love Ronald, even though Ronald McDonald, when you meet them in person, because to be a Ronald McDonald, you have to have the same voice.
Yeah.
Is creepy as all get out
Mm-hmm.
because they talk and you're like, oh my God. But what they did to Grimace is they said, you're now going to be friends with Ronald and you're going to hang out. So kids will do a 180 on Grimace.
Holy Christ, this is horrific.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't like it.
I should play the Predator music again because that's
wow. I'm glad I never got to experience old Grimace.
From 1971, and in 1973, he resembled kind of one of those air fresheners that used to look like cones, and he was upside down. And then by 1986, he was our friend.
Yeah, and see, really, 86
which is how I remember.
Was when I came into my formative years when it came to mascots at fast food restaurants. I would have been like 7. So that's what I've only known Grimace as the Grimace form that we see today. This old Grimace thing is kind of a revelation, and I'm kind of happy that I didn't experience that.
When you think of the drug usage in 1971, too, that really would have been.
Now looking at multiple pictures of Grimace, too, looks a lot like Jabba the Hutt.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
It also looks like the Western Kentucky mascot.
Yeah.
Like it could be a relative.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it used to be, you would always say, what is a Grimace? And never, how is Grimace? So they had to change the mindset.
Oh,
man.
So they put him with Ronald, who at the time was wearing a cowboy hat. Lance says Wendy's getting rid of the vanilla shake is almost as bad as Arby's getting rid of potato cakes. Spot on. Great food take. On a radio station that has, y'all have these terrible food takes. That's a good, smart food take. Unbelievable to me. This is what they are known for besides a roast beef sandwich. That is true.
Agreed.
That seems like a bad marketing strategy on the part of Arby's.
Somebody's ass should get fired.
That is how I fell in love with triangular potatoes. Was the potato cakes. And they were thick. They were greasy. I mean, they'd be seeping through the little bag that they were in. Oh, they were fantastic. And you get rid of those? Like, hey, I don't mind a curly fry from Arby's, but if I got the option between those and a potato cake, yeah.
They made room for the crinkle fries.
Yeah, and again, why? Do we need the crinkle fries?
See, if I want crinkle fries, I go to Runza.
I do too.
Or they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Are they?
Oh, the crinkle fries at Runza are great.
No, you're out.
No.
They're only good if somehow someone had dropped a couple of onion rings into them.
Oh, I always get frings.
Well, then we're talking about frings.
Yeah.
Now you
Definitely
will, on
team fring
occasion,
in our
though,
family.
you will get maybe a large crinkle fry, and there might, I don't know if it's accidental or not, or just to sort of let you know what you're missing out on.
It's called a tease.
Yeah, it is. It's present.
Wendy's bad move. Joel
Yeah.
Lorenzi,
Agreed.
good move. Coming up next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Saviv for Ted and Wally's, 2 locations, one in the Old Market, of course, the other in Benson. Ultra premium ice cream. You may ask yourself, what does that mean? Well, 20% butterfat. Been making it since 1984, and there's so many different flavors. And one of my favorite things about Ted and Wally's is they make an ice cream for you. They've got keto-friendly ice cream. They've got goat milk ice cream. Whatever you're looking for, they have it. It's Ted and Wally's, 2 wonderful locations, Old Market and Benson. And, of course, tell them Severe sent you.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need.
At Omaha Transmission, we don't have a warehouse full of transmissions waiting to be sold. We will diagnose and then repair or remanufacture your transmission. It's how we've always done it and how we'll always do it. Treating people the way that we want to be treated is how we do business at Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Your family's comfort and safety are a top priority. If your current air conditioner isn't getting the job done, Thermal is here to help. We understand you need affordable equipment you can count on. This spring, get a high-efficiency Lennox air conditioner installed with no interest and no payments for 6 months. You'll save now with rebates and federal tax credits, and later on your energy bills. Call today and you'll be cool before the heat of summer sets in. At Thermal, we make you and your home comfortable. Visit thermalservices.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah. It's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, 3/4-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Have you heard the news? Tickets for Less, formerly Ticket Express, has moved to a new office location located near Oakview Mall at 145th and West Center Road, just a few miles west of their former Omaha location. Now, the new office space, it allows Tickets for Less to better serve the needs of customers in the area, and they're still going to provide that high-quality customer service. So head on over to the new Tickets for Less location. It's at 145th and West Center Road for the best deals on tickets to the big baseball event downtown, the Huskers, the Chiefs, and more, or just head over to ticketsforless.com now to save.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, our next guest is expanding with things to follow in the summer. We had a trip to go see Bud Crawford be sent off, and then a really, really good piece on the emerging high school basketball talent in the area, all from our next guest, Joel Lorenzi, the Omaha World Herald. Nicely done. I enjoyed reading about Amari and Chuck Love and the others that are up and coming that are receiving Power 5 offers. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, sir. I appreciate it.
Did you get a chance, because you're a hoop head, did you get a chance to meet Amari's father who played at Iowa State?
No, I haven't gotten to meet anybody in the family, but I'll be around in the summer, so I'll be keeping up with a lot of the high school scene. So I'm sure I'll get a chance to meet a lot of people.
All right, let's we'll finish with Creighton and Art Kaluma picking his destination. But I want you to put your GM hat on. So the NBA season more than likely is going to be over tonight, and then we're going to transition to the NBA draft, and then free agency is going to be here, and Kyrie may have a destination, James Harden, who knows what's going to happen. If you look at post-Kevin Durant Warriors in the NBA, and you look at the two teams playing in this year's NBA Finals, as a GM, what's the best way to construct a roster in today's NBA?
It's tough, and this GM hat doesn't fit me so well. I've said this in the past, but it's tough, man, because especially with the new CBA. Like I've read that. Obviously, I'm not a capologist or a contract expert or even a CBA expert. I wasn't an expert on the last CBA, but as far as I know, it'll be hard for the way some teams have worked out some of their contracts and their books to retain talent long term. And for this Nuggets group, I've read it based on that they only have such a large window to keep winning before guys take on such a chunk of their books. And so it becomes tougher, right? Like I think long term, the players are going to take a hit, especially probably role players more than anything. Role players have to take a hit. I think you'll see more minimums. There'll have to be an adjustment in the league. I say all this to say that there's gonna be a period where it comes down to some of it, and this could be the difference, I guess, in a playoff series. I don't know if this means this will crown a champion, but whatever team gets somebody to buy in or role player to buy in for a certain number, is gonna end up probably better on paper. And so I don't know what it'll take. I think still you're gonna need. I think the foundation is still a top 12 player in the league. You need that because you look across the champions in recent years. These dudes are between Giannis and Jokic and whoever. These guys are always top 10, and in their case, top 5. So that you still need that foundation. But I don't know, because the Nuggets are interesting. People actually didn't think they were good before they got into this playoff run. So I still think you need a well-balanced attack. It'll just be harder to retain your talent long term.
And with the Nuggets, I know we'd be crowning a champion in this conversation, but just for this conversation's sake, whether they win it tonight, they win the series, and we look at what they've done in the postseason, how do you think we look back at this Denver Nugget run, this particular team?
Oh, there's only one word: dominance. I think a lot of people will realize that. I don't know. It seems like they weren't particularly watched as much as most champions in the past during the regular season, and that probably led to a lot of that, split discussions of how good they were and who was better, this and that. Any doubt, but they've breezed through this playoff run, and it hasn't been a fluke at all. And as much as I'm a Giannis truther, Jokic is, I think, rightfully proves his spot as the best player on earth. And I know we're prisoner of the moment, so this could probably change next season. And I hate being a prisoner of the moment, but I don't feel like I am here. Like I feel like with the circumstances the Buck series, I mean, obviously Giannis got hurt, but with that Buck series and then with the kind of run that Jokic has been on, it's hard to argue against it, right? Like you would seem like a lunatic if you didn't argue it. So I think that's how we'll remember this. We'll remember this as, you know, even the people who maybe didn't watch Jokic or, you know, weren't fans of him, really coming around to like, hey, this dude is an all timer, like, and he's here now. Like he's not just, you know, one of the better players in the league. Like he's the best right now.
Yeah, it's good to be from Serbia, which is a country that is a little bit smaller than the Chicagoland area, but you have Jokic, who just won his 23rd major in tennis. Now you have Jokic, who is about to win his first NBA title. Okay, so look at Jokic, and he's been good for a while. I mean, he won back-to-back MVPs awards, made a great case to have it 3 in a row. A guy that large, which is a combination between Nowitzki and then Sabonis, which his career was cut short by injury. How do you guard Jokic? I mean, like, the guy never stops. He's got a good motor. He plays both ends of the floor really well. How would you go about trying to guard him?
You can't, and that's why he's the best player in the world. Because a guy that talented, that's probably, if not the best passer in the league, certainly the most practical passer in the league and facilitator. You can't take much away from him because if he's not putting it in the bucket, he's gonna get everybody involved. And I like the Sabonis reference because I feel like even though he was before my time, like he's underrated in history, man. Like that's one of the like these. It's crazy because like Gasol, Sabonis, like these were the best passing bigs once upon a time in NBA history. And Jokic is like absolutely blowing these dudes out the water. Like it's not even a competition anymore. And that's these are the conversations we having now. Like Jokic is just that good, and I can't even lie to you and tell you I got a formula on how to stop this dude when you know, he always finds a way. Got great touch, not only around the rim, even though it looks unorthodox at other times, not only around the rim, but from deep. And his passing, his arsenal of passes and vision, and the combination of it all makes him almost unstoppable in the end. Like he's certainly a top 3 offensive player in the league. He's probably better than that. And so I'm not even gonna lie to you and try to act like I would know how to stop him. I mean, Eric Spoelstra hasn't figured it out. So why would I?
You know, Joel, speaking of Eric Spoelstra and what they have in the offseason in front of them, we were talking about this a little bit. If I'm a Heat fan, I'm not worried as much on what this team looks like a year from now because I feel like between Pat Riley and Spoelstra and what they've been able to kind of put together, it always seems like it's not a fluke that they've been in 2 of the last 4 NBA finals or 3 of the last 4 Eastern Conference finals. When you look at what they need to do, though, and how interesting of a follow it's going to be, is this going to be one of the more interesting teams to follow as far as postseason teams going into the offseason?
Yeah, because even still, like, as much as we want to view it as a fluke, like, they're always in the mix. Like, they were a 3 away from the finals last year, too. And I think they're a piece away from getting over the hump. I don't know if they need a more consistent first option than Jimmy or if it will take just a better third option. Because I don't think they have a legit third option. Like I thought Caleb Martin had emerged as a legit third option. Then he disappeared this series. I guess that was a one-time thing, but they're definitely a piece away from really, really being able to put up that Larry O'Brien. So I think just interesting and I mean I don't know their books off the top of my head, but I gotta imagine with the way they're constructed and so many undrafted guys and whatnot, with the way they're constructed, it shouldn't be hard to keep this team together long term with their culture and everything else. If guys really believe in what they got going on.
Joel Lorenzi from the World Herald joining us. Quickly on college basketball. So it appears just by following the social media algorithms that Simeon Wiltshire is going to commit to Rick Pitino today. How is this going to work? How is Pitino, I don't know, is this 2.0, 3.0, but now it's St. John's, and you know what his offseason was like with the portal and moving guys out of his program. What's this going to look like at St. John's with Rick Pitino, in your opinion, if this is true that he has got his point guard for the upcoming season?
Well, it's interesting because I mean, obviously, some of it is probably based on Rick Pitino being Rick Pitino, but I saw people already putting St. John's in their top 25s, way too early top 25s and all that. So I got to imagine Wiltshire, even though he's a freshman, and the impact of freshmen is different these days. There aren't a bunch of Zion Williamsons and whoever, even top 10 guys aren't so impactful these days. The high school classes are seemingly worse, let alone 5 stars in general. But I gotta imagine, obviously a big hit for Pitino. That makes it even harder to probably doubt him. Even though early on it looked bleak this summer, his gets were like, I don't know, guys from Iona and whatever. Like it wasn't coming together at first, but now I think there's enough talent there to where it's like, okay, would it really be smart to bet against Pitino? Now, obviously, I don't think they're going to win the Big East, but I think they can certainly finish in the top half, which is a jump because St. John's last year was obviously there was a ceiling with Mike Anderson. You still get Soriano back, and the pieces they have, I think, have come together now. So certainly a better summer than Seton Hall. I'll say that.
Your thought, yeah. Arthur Kaluma to K-State, joining Jerome Tang, and what that group should look like. Do you like this fit for Arthur Kaluma?
I do, man. And people were like, I was seeing the snarky comments, and I didn't think Creighton fans were capable of these until Art and Nembhard left. But the snarky comments are like, oh, why would he leave Creighton for Kansas State? And I'm like, the reasons are clear. That one, Creighton isn't a paradise to everybody. People got to get that idea out their head. Nowhere, if people don't want to play somewhere, they just don't want to play somewhere. For whatever weird reasons you have, less is not enough to keep them. And Kansas State, I think, I don't know why people are acting like Kansas State is like this poverty program. Like, they went pretty far in this past tournament. If my memory serves me correctly, like they did their thing. And Jerome Tang is one of the better coaches in college basketball, even as an assistant. I think he was one of the most impactful coaches. And he has something real going on up there. I don't know Kaluma's ceiling up there, but I got to imagine he's higher on the totem pole this year with, Marquise and Keontae out the door.
Yep.
And I'm sure Art thought about that. And so I got to imagine Tang is probably going to not only allow him to work on some of that creation stuff that Kaluma really wants to show off, but to also make a way to, make him a big and do some of the things that he adjusted to and made work for Creighton mid-season before they kind of disappeared. So I like the fit. I don't dislike the fit, that's for sure. I think good conference, and he'll just for him, for his aspirations, it works out. It makes sense. He's definitely higher on the totem pole over there. Which and then people were like, oh, I was seeing people like trying to justify it compared to leaving Creighton. They were like, he was gonna have to share minutes, this and that. But I think Trout was in part. I mean, maybe he was always coming, but I think the sell on Trout and being sold that Mason Miller was gonna have this role probably a result of Kaluma always being gone, to be honest. So I don't know why we're having these conversations
I agree with you on the fit to K-State. I think that's a win. Tang's got a history of portal guys, what he did at Baylor attracting him, and now at K-State. I agree with you. Next week when you're on with us, we're going to talk about your voice of the fan that gets at you on message boards and stuff. Hey, be good, my man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
That's Joel Lorenzi, the Omaha World Herald. You know what I mean?
Why are they going to Kansas State instead of Creighton?
They still have on USC the message board post of the day.
I think so.
That was a great bit. Yeah, that was a great segment. All right, the voice of the fan. Yeah. And again, roll. Good
Sounds
show,
like lead singer of Primus.
NBA season probably over tonight. Even though if they get it back to Miami, I said Nuggets in 6, so I would at least have
That's
some
a Denver in
solace in that.
5.
At least we get another game, and you never know.
Yeah, I know. Jimmy,
Don't let them win tonight, Gary.
Jimmy. Jimmy, thanks for sucking up. Ain't gonna happen.
That's not sucking up. I just wanted to watch more
Don't let 'em
basketball.
win
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm good. We're on fumes. Had a nice run. The better team is up 3-1 in the series by far. We also have baseball tonight. The last 2 slots will be filled for Omaha, and we'll have the field of 8 when we come back with you tomorrow at 6. For Nick, for Jimmy, I'm Gary. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.